him to enter and conduct a warrantless search of his property. He said Gagana used a remote control that was in his pocket to open the gate. But Mohale told the court the Blue Gate remote, which can be clearly seen in the pictures he took, was never removed from the Viano. This could support the defense's version that police entered Gagana's property forcefully, as the gate remote control was said to be left behind at the first scene where he was arrested. Dimakatsela Show, Eyewitness News.
And Iran has struck U.S. on the Islamic Republic. The latest fighting over the Strait of Hormuz once again expanded to U.S. military bases in the region and drew Washington's Gulf allies deeper into the 6-month conflict. U.S. President Donald Trump had warned earlier of much harder and higher attacks if Iran retaliated to the U.S. strikes, which Iranian state media says killed 11 people in the country's south and southwest. Tehran says it launched ballistic missile attacks on 2 U.S. bases in Jordan. Iran's army says it launched drone attacks targeting U.S. forces at an airbase in Bahrain, a key Washington ally in the Gulf. The latest round of conflict began when Washington hit Iranian targets on Sunday, the first known strikes in several weeks, after which Tehran's forces targeted U.S. troops in Jordan and the UAE. Gold is trading at $4,316.88 an ounce. The rand is at 16.19 to the dollar, 21.85 to the pound, 18.74 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $95.68 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident on the N1 North in the Pulsov area. It happened near Rivonia Road. Delays coming out of Malibongo Drive. There's also queuing traffic on the N1 South approaching Winnie Mandela Drive, and then traveling on the N3 North bumper-to-bumper traffic between the Airlines Interchange and Van Buren Road.
A fine day in store for Gauteng today. The temperatures will peak at highs between 27 and 29 degrees. The top story in EW and the SAR. The Western Cape High Court is today expected to begin its review of a parliamentary report that has led to President Cyril Ramaphosa facing impeachment.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
7:02
Live
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
You're on 702. Good morning. Lovely having you with us. The station is always thrilled because you always choose us, and we always love having you around. I hope it's a beautiful morning for you. The second day of the 9th month of the year 2026. It's still spring. It has just begun, and I'm hoping that it's bringing all those beautiful things that it ought to do. My name is Thabo Sholemashao. I'm thrilled to be in your company up until 12 o'clock. Midday, we have quite a lot that's coming, and I depend on your interactions to liven up our experience together for the next 3 hours. There's a lot to talk about, and I thought we should just kick off immediately. But before that, I must just tell you that Clement Manyathela is not here, so I'm in his stead. But the team that usually puts their show together, they're all here. Sinazo is executive producer of the show, ably assisted by Keta. They put the show together, and you will interact with them as soon as you give us a call on 011-883-0702. Even when you send the voice notes, they're the gatekeepers, so to speak, to monitor all that interaction on 072-702-1702. On my side of the studio, Abel is the technical producer, is in charge of everything technical, presses the buttons, and makes sure that there's a great connection between us, you and me on this side of the world. And of course, you, the main ingredient. We can't do it without you. You are the reason we exist. So I don't take that for granted at all. I will never ever forget that. I will never ever ignore that. I'm not naive to that important fact. Hence, your contribution is important. Let's get straight to it and give you some bit of heads up as to what's coming up on the show. I don't move furniture, and so you would know that between 9 and 10 o'clock that we have an open line. And in that open line, there's everything. It's just a big mix. I do throw in one or two things just to get us going, but I prefer if you bring topics that are not usually ventilated, things that happen in your workspace. It could be in your social sphere, it could be in your professional atmosphere, it could be anywhere else. I do think that there's a lot that we don't know about, that we don't cover, and we can't be everywhere at all times. So we depend on you to give us some heads up on issues that are taking place in the country, in the world. There could be a topic, perhaps you want to talk about Nepal. That's also okay. I'm open for that. Anything. That's why it's an open line. But it could be also you want to address something that happened to your cousin that you think South Africa must know about because it's so pertinent and media has not covered it as yet. I'm also keen to know about that. So that's why it's called an open line. So don't be deterred by me just putting two starters as firelighters for us. Feel free to add anything at all. Speaking of firelighters, I thought I don't know if you saw the stats that came out, right? The latest statistic, South Africa Governance, Public Safety and Justice Survey. It found that more than 1.08 million households experienced housebreaking in 2025-2026 years. So, I mean, that's quite huge in South Africa. 1.08 million households experienced housebreaking. I'm wondering, in that number that just goes over a million, if you are included therein. I hope not, but I'm asking a question. Are you in that 1 million that experienced housebreaking? If so, I'm terribly sorry, but I'd like you to share your experience with us. What was the incident about? I hope everyone is well, but more importantly, did you report it? And if you did, what was the outcome? Were you satisfied with what the authorities did? The processes that followed? I'd love to hear from you because the survey also shows that the reporting gap was wider for individuals. It showed that lesser and lesser people have confidence in the police system and increasingly taking their safety into their own hands. And people, South Africans, are clearly not thrilled with and are not thrilled with how the police respond. So many of them take things into their own hands. And of the 179,000 households that experienced home robberies, 51.6% reported some or all incidents. This is huge. This is very, very huge. So please, if you have experienced this, feel free to share with me almost right away on 011 883 0702. 011 883 0702. I hope we'll only touch on the recent ones. And if you really report it, 13 minutes after 9.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
702 indeed. Welcome back. So I'm keen to know about that. Your households, the robberies that have happened if you were one of the victims. So that's one story. If you call us or send a voice note, if you're a little shy, send a voice note to 072 702 1702. Like I did say yesterday, I apologize profusely for my just started acting up yesterday. I have given it some nice attention. I'm hoping it will get better. So every now and then, do kindly bear with me, and I'll do my best to let it flow as best as I can. But I just wanted to alert you to that. So bear with me every now and then. I might need to just take a quick cough And so for a little while, I think I'll be fine in the next few minutes or so as I've been giving it attention. But let's get back to the show. Have you acted in a position before? Perhaps your manager quit, senior manager or one of the executives quit, and they asked you to act on their behalf, or a principal left and they asked you, please come and act in this position. Have you acted in that position before? And only to find that after a little while, you didn't get the position. The position was given to someone else. Did it feel like blatant exploitation on you? After doing a great job, it could be that you were acting for about 18 months or so. And then after 18 months, they brought Sinazo in and they said, well, thank you for acting. This is your new boss. And you were there acting in this position. How did that feel? I mean, I'm asking this on the backdrop of Clement Manyathela, the assistant coach of Bafana Bafana. We all know that Pitso Mosimane is back as Bafana Bafana coach. And we remember that he had a stint between 2010 and 2012, and some may say he was unsuccessful there. I'm not a sporting fundi, so I am not going to proffer an informed or educated analysis on that. But I was keen to understand that Pitso travels with his team, and rightly so. He's got his own people, and chances are Clement Manyathela is not going to become an assistant coach. Right? And I agree, and I have nothing against that. I suppose that if you want to deliver, you want a certain team. But, I mean, what happens to you? You've been in that position for quite some time, and now you're told, no thanks, goodbye. That seems unfair. So that brought about this topic about acting positions. Have you been in an acting position at work? Acting manager, acting this, acting that? And then later on, you didn't get the job. You had to go back to your dull desk after occupying a nice office for a little while. Is that exploitation? Should it be that if you're in an acting position, there must be something that you get if you don't ultimately end up at that position if there's a better candidate who would have overtaken you? There must be some sort of soft landing, cushioning mechanism that allows you to at least continue enjoying these benefits and not go back to your dull desk after that. I don't know what you think about it, but let us know on 011-883-0702, 011-883-0702. I'm very keen to know from you about that. And it was spring day. If you were in the townships or anywhere else yesterday, you might have noticed that lots of children, young people, young adults, splashing water to every single person who was passing by. That seems like fun, hey? Until something happens to your cell phone. Or your documents wet and everything else. And a lot of people encourage it. I see it's splashed all over some of the newspapers. It's all fun and games, and I mean, until you have to take your wonderful suit to dry cleaners or anything. What if you don't feel like the water? I mean, people started exchanging, blows yesterday. I'm told that people started fighting because some people did not want water on them at all. They didn't want to participate. But these youngsters just went on to throw water at them anyway. I think that's a bit intrusive, if you ask me. And you must do it, but do it with people who would like to participate, not just with everyone. 011-883-0702. 18 minutes after 9. Abel, the show has officially begun.
For more about 702,
Go to primemediaplus.com.
Straight to your calls. Solo, you're in Pretoria. Good morning.
Good morning, Abuti Tawalekai.
Kiteng le kae o Solo?
Kidding. I just called. I'm a first-time caller, by the way.
Wow, you made my day. Really? Really? Are you kidding me?
I am, and I've been listening to 702 for so many years, so I'm glad to have gotten through.
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. Welcome.
Thank you, Abutabo. I just want to urge my fellow South Africans, about just the crime So on Monday, on the 31st of August, my car, I drive a company car, so it was broken into, not really broken into. So when I went, I was in a shopping center, so I was going to just quickly buy slippers for my son. I wasn't even 5 minutes in the shop. When I come back, I tried to unlock the car.
Yeah.
It didn't unlock, meaning it never locked. So there are people jamming
Yes.
the keys, and I went to the police station to report the case. There was another lady with the same story to say my laptop was stolen, as well as me, my work laptop was taken.
Oh, no.
So people must just be extra vigilant out there. Make sure your car is locked.
Yeah. And just wait a little bit before you just walk off and press the remote like that, right? You need to actually see if it is locked, and if possible, go
it is
back and
locked.
test. Yeah. No,
Yes.
that's heads up.
Yes.
But wait, did you get some help?
I did. The detective contacted me, and it blew my mind. Apparently, these people were following me. The camera caught them from another robot. They were following me as I went into the shopping center. They parked outside, and then one guy came out to check when am I going out. And as soon as I went out of the car, I tried to lock. They jammed. I was obviously in a hurry. And then, they just took the laptop. So people must just be careful.
No, thanks for the heads up. I'm sorry about your deal, Tsulu. And I'm hoping that this is not the last time you called. It's a first, but not your last time, ne?
Definitely.
All right.
not.
Have a
Thank
lovely
you.
day. Thank you, Tsulu in Pretoria. Oh, the time now, 21 minutes after 9 o'clock. I think let's take some bit of voice notes, Abel, on 072 702 1702.
Good morning. 702 Land, interesting topic. I reported a house break-in to the Sandton police about 6.5 months ago. Phoned them. They said they're sending a vehicle out. I'm still waiting. Went to the police station to report that no, a vehicle needs to come out to my house. And I went back to my house, phoned them again to send a vehicle out. I'm still waiting. So that Mint Plus reports are very, very skewed. I think it must be double that.
Yeah, concerning, really concerning. And I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the fact that, you're saying you're still waiting. Of course, there is tongue in cheek with that kind of comment, because you've been waiting for ages. Clearly, it is somehow. Could it be that's why some people don't report? Could it be that you're thinking, what's going to happen after this anyway, and you just let it go? Well, let me hear it from you on 072 702 1702.
Taba, you go to the police to report a crime, a burglary in your house, if you need insurance, my friend. Even the police, they don't take you seriously if you are there to report that. Unless they're going to ask, the first question they ask you, do you have an insurance? So you could see how useless our police are. Case in Kakhis.
Hi, good morning, Tabo. What an interesting topic. This is something that's very dear to my heart. So I was in an acting position for a period of 6 years. 6 years, Tabo. And during that 6 years, I kept on being interviewed for the same role, and I'd get auto-declined by the same people that I was working for, and had to look them in the eye every single day. 6 years I acted in that position, and I did a sterling job, and sadly did not get the position. But yeah, 6 years later, thank goodness I got an even better position. So yeah, there you go.
Good morning. Which topic? Your topic is very interesting. So, in my case, I trained somebody, and after some time, after two years, I was training this junior. After 2 years, the junior became my boss. Even though I have all the qualifications, everything, we applied as everyone, but I was told I wasn't qualified.
Hi, Tabo. What is happening at SAFA? It's complete nonsense. Helman Kelele was there with the team ever since the former coach was appointed. He should naturally take over the team because he knows the players. He has learned something from the former coach. Pitso Msimang will not bring anything. We are going back. We might not even qualify for the next AFCON. So I'm not in favor of Pitso. Our soccer will never develop with the current administration. We are far behind. Thank you.
Yeah, 25 minutes after 9 o'clock, you're on 702. I'm Thabo Shalemashao. In for Clement, we're together till 12. Great having you with us. In case you're wondering what are we talking about and you've just tuned in, we proffered two matters on the table, and one of them was about acting positions. Have you been in an acting position only to be overlooked when the permanent appointment was finally done, and you'd find that they chose someone else? I mean, there was a very interesting and fascinating voice note that came through from one of our listeners. I forgot the name now, and it was about, she was saying that she was acting for 6 years in a position. 6 years. Acting for 6 years, and the position was given to someone else. I assume they thought someone else would have been more qualified, suitable, and competent for that position. But these 6 years, did they not see that this person perhaps is not suitable? I think that is wasting people's time. That is undermining your own talent, and that is overlooking what is in front of you, and you are missing out on an opportunity of building from within. You already have someone acting for 6 years, and you are going to remove them. So that's blatant exploitation. You are benefiting from them being there in an acting position, but they're not good enough for a permanent position. No, that's pure exploitation. That's what capitalism does, eh? Yeah, those are the remnants of capitalism, because they just take him from you, but they're giving nothing. And someone else, sent a voice note to say that they had to train a junior, and the junior became their boss. Guys, what's going on? What's going on? I think also we don't raise these things, especially the middle class community is shy to raise these things because most of them are not unionized, and you don't want to speak that language of worker solidarity. It makes you feel like you are in 1986 and you haven't progressed as such, and so you die inside, and all these things are happening. And as you are silent about these matters, the exploiters keep getting more pockets, keep getting more money in their pockets, and you keep getting more frustrations in your heart. I don't get how it gets to that point. But also about Helman Kelele, we asked this specifically based on assistant coach Helman Kelele, and Abel makes a very interesting point in studio that Helman was an assistant of Hugo Bruce. He was not an assistant of Safa. He was assisting Hugo Bruce. So Pitso Mosimane must be allowed to bring whomever he chooses for that position. And if we are going to expect Pitso to perform, we must give him the latitude to recruit his own team that he thinks is best suited to deliver the goods that are required. I think that is fair. But I equally think there ought to be something for Helman Kelele. They experienced his contribution that he had poured into Safa, into Bafana for those years, for that particular time, and leading us to qualify for the World Cup. There's something to be said about his acumen. There's something to be said about the encounters that he had gathered over time that may be of benefit now, perhaps not as an assistant coach, but he can't just be dumped after all of that. Or, I don't know what you think of it. I could be talking nonsense and you're thinking, who's this guy behind the microphone? Let me call in and correct him. Please feel free to do so on 011-883-0702. Alternatively, send a voice note to 072-702-1702. Abigail, you're in Midrand. Morning.
Morning to you. How are you?
I try, Abigail. How are you?
Good. I'm responding on the acting position.
Yes, ma'am.
That I didn't get.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'm in education. I was acting like 2.5 years in a position on the language department. and the previous person went on what they call it, on retirement. So I was acting this whole time, and the post was advertised, and I applied for it, and I make the short list, and eventually the last 3 people came for interviews. I didn't get long story, I didn't get a position. My junior got a position, which was not okay. And when I tried to find out what was the reason, they said that because the qualifications was fine and the experience was fine, they said no, they don't look at experience. they only look at how you act on the day of the interview. And if the day of the interview you didn't do well, so you didn't get it, finish and clear. You understand?
And
so I think
there was demonstrable experience that you had given and shown that you were competent for those 2 years.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I was doing physically the job, you know what I'm saying, and then only to find out that your qualifications and your experience, especially the experience, doesn't matter. It's how you were doing on the day, how the panel was looking at the day, and on that criteria they give somebody else a position. It doesn't make sense. Because you were acting, especially when you acting like in a voluntary basis. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I mean, you're raising a very interesting point there, Abigail, and I'd like to ask the rest of 702 Land, because I don't know this. If you are acting in that position, do you also get the same salary as stipulated by the position or the office you occupy, or do they just keep you at your old salary up until you are permanent? Please let me know on 072 702 1702, 29 minutes to 10 o'clock. Sfiso Zulu will give you the very latest with EWN headlines. Sfiso, hi, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Taba. Good morning. The Western Cape High Court is today expected to begin its review of a parliamentary report that has led to President Cyril Ramaphosa facing impeachment. Ramaphosa launched the application in May after the Constitutional Court ordered Parliament to begin impeachment proceedings against him. In 2022, the ANC majority rejected that report. That's now the subject of the review, and Ramaphosa subsequently dropped a previous application to challenge its lawfulness. A police forensic investigator is expected to conclude his evidence this morning in the trial within a trial against alleged crime boss Clement Manyathela and 4 others. Sergeant Thabiso Mohale is the 6th witness to have taken the stand. The defense challenged the state's case, particularly the arrest of accused 1 Musa Kekana. Kekana and 3 others face a combined 25 charges, including conspiracy to commit murder and attempted murder. And 16 people have been killed and 28 others injured in a bus crash in Egypt. 20 ambulances were on the scene of the accident this morning, which occurred between the popular tourist towns of Dahab and Maweba on the South Sinai eastern coast. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 10 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, starting in Sandton, we've got an accident on Greyston Drive. It happened right after Catherine Street. It's causing delays, particularly if you off-ramping on the M1 North. And then if you are traveling in Polsoff, we still have got that major accident scene on the N1 North. It's right near Rivonia Road. Delays from Malibongwe Drive. The N1 South is also backed up between Rivonia Road and Winnie Mandela Drive. Heading towards the CBD, we've got heavy traffic volumes on the M1 North between Boyson's Road and the double-decker section. There's also queuing traffic leaving Halton along the M1 South. That's actually due to an accident. It happened right near Empire Road. Delays from Halton Drive. Then in the city of Tshwane, some issues along the N1 North, right as you approach Rigel Avenue. Roadworks are causing these delays. Please try to use the N14 North instead. We'll have more updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
Where does the phrase "die poppe sal dance" come from? Do you guys know?
I'm just thinking now, when I watched the movie, Michael, father used to beat him. Maybe that's where he got his dance moves from.
You know the phrase, but you don't know where it comes from.
Yes. TKZ, the Papa Sal dance in Shubobo. That was like one of the lyrics.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Can you find that quickly? I don't know how many times I've listened to that song, but this is literally the first time I'm realizing that he says "die poppe sal dance."
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
Feel the suspense when you unravel the riddle and embark on amazing adventures with Hollywood Bets and Spinazonke Mystery Parcel. You could win your share of 1 million rand in cash and bonus bets when you unlock the prize in the parcel. Bet 2 rand or more on selected Playtech slots every Sunday and Wednesday between 8 a.m. and 11:59 p.m. Available now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
This advert is paid for by the political party concerned.
We've gotten so used to power cuts, dry taps, and potholes. Our basic service is just too much to ask for. That's why in this election, I'm voting for the Democratic Alliance to get our town working for all.
This advert was paid for by the political party concerned.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We are also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct to give you balanced programming, fair comments, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we are not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission. Email bccsa@nabsa.co.za. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
24 minutes to 10 o'clock. My name is Thabo Sholamashao. I'm happy to be in your company. And it's an open line. Whatever is on your mind, anything and anything goes on the open line. But I have put 2 items on the menu for your consideration. Feel free to partake in them. Alternatively, bring your items as well. I'm happy for us on the open line to talk about whatever it is on your mind. It could be that we are overlooking something and we are not talking about some serious issues that have been taking place in society and it's not reflected in the media. Feel free to share it on 072-702-1702 via your voice notes or call us directly on 011-883-0702. Initially, I asked about the crime stats and I was indicating to you that some interesting numbers came out, especially from the latest Statistics South Africa Governance, Public Safety and Justice Survey. It found that more than 1 million households in South Africa experienced housebreaking in 2025, in the year 2025-2026. Yet only 48% reported some or all incidents to the police. So over 1 million housebreaking. And I was wondering if you are in that million figure. I hope not. But if you are, please share with us. What was the ordeal? What was that sordid experience like? Did you report it? If you did, what was the outcome? If you didn't, why didn't you? But most importantly, do you now feel safe after people invaded your comfortable, intimate space, came into it, and did as they pleased? How do you feel about it? Do you still feel safe? The piece in the Star, which was penned by Anita Nkonki, also goes on to express that the proportion of people aged 16 and older who said they had done something to protect themselves against crime, they said that they'd done something to protect themselves against crime, rose from 43.3% to 46.6%. So it appears as if more and more people feel that they can protect themselves more effectively and adequately than the authorities or the police can. Is that how you feel? Share with me on 072-702-1702. And I also asked about the acting positions. A lot of people have taken up acting positions. I don't know if you're paid more if you're in the acting position. You get the benefits that the permanent office holds, or you're just still getting what your position determines. And how would you feel after acting for 6 years? 6 years you are acting, and then they give the position to someone else. Is that fair? Or could it be you knew what you were getting yourself into? That's why we call it acting. We were looking for someone else in the interim, and you knew very well what you were getting into. And if it doesn't go your way, you need to just take it with a pinch of salt and say, that's just how the cookie crumbles. Let us know on 0727021702. My late grandmother was a deputy principal at one of the schools in Soweto. She was in an acting position of a principal for, I think, 2 years or so. And they appointed someone else after those years. She was devastated about that. She didn't take it well. She was gracious, and she went on to her previous position to do what she was doing very well, but she didn't take it well. On many occasions, when I spent a lot of time with her driving back and forth from port, she'd tell me that that didn't sit well with her because she threw her heart into that. So I'm wondering about you. It could be that you are in corporate, you are in government, you are in civil space. It could be that you are in aviation or any other industry. When they ask you to act in a senior position, and you don't get that position ultimately, what does it say to you? Would you leave the company altogether? I mean, we are talking about that because also considering Helman Kelele, the assistant coach, up until now, Pitso Musimane has been appointed as Bafana head coach, and we don't know if he will take Helman. And we are saying, what happens to the poor guy? He's contributed so much. What happens to him? Is he going to be chucked out, or will there be a position for him? David, you are in Mokopane. You want to throw your worth on this issue. Morning.
Hi, Tibos.
Hey, Tada.
You know, I think we must clarify this question of Helman because Helman and Jingles work in the same space, you know. It may just create an unnecessary animosity because of misunderstanding. Look, Tibos, Helman, like anyone else, had a 5-year fixed contract that he knew at the end of the fixed contract he would leave. It was incumbent on Herman to upgrade his qualifications during the intervening period so that he would be able to compete with the best when an opportunity arises. Unfortunately, we cannot attribute the former coach's achievements to Herman to say, oh, all Bruce's achievements are attributed to Herman. No, that cannot happen. But like anyone else, his fixed contract has come to an end. Like any other general manager or any other person with a fixed contract, at the end you leave, regardless of the experience you would have amassed in the intervening period. So it is not that it is unfair to Herman. It is just the nature of the beast.
No, you see, I am not necessarily fighting the nature of the beast and how the structure is. I am not in any way questioning that. I am adding on to the conversation to ask, on a personal level, how do you take that? You were acting in this position. It must come with some serious disappointment. There must be an ounce of discouragement, and you feel somehow disincentivized to work in that space after your employer had chosen someone else over you whilst you were in that position, and hopefully you were thinking that you are next in line, and you are not, you know. So I'm not, this is not an aspersion on Safa. I'm not criticizing anyone. I'm not doing that. And I did say, David, at the beginning that with my limited knowledge of football and soccer and sports generally, I'm not qualified to give a proper analysis. I'm asking a question generally about, how do you feel? That must be discouraging.
Well, at a human level, it has, definitely.
Yeah.
That's true. I've been here for a long time. Now I'm just like walking out.
Yeah.
But professionally, it doesn't work like that.
Agreed.
When you are
Agreed with you.
In that position, then you say, let me upgrade myself.
And you must know. You must know that it comes with a potential disappointment, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. No. I don't disagree. Thanks, David. My brother. All the best.
No.
David in Mokopane, 16 minutes to 10 o'clock, who's been holding the longest. Komani, you are in Mamelodi.
Sure, my man. What I'm trying to say to this topic, once you are in an acting position, it doesn't give you a legitimate expectation for you to be appointed to a permanent position. It doesn't give you any right. What is important thereof is those generic requirements which are advertised. Are you the most appropriate person for the job? That is what is important. Do you comply with the core functions of the post themselves?
Sure.
So that's what is important. I understand you are a human being, you've got feelings and all those things. But in all material respects, it doesn't give you a right or a legitimate expectation for you to be given a permanent post.
Sure, and
That's an underlying thing.
I hear you. I take that, Komane. Allow me to ask you one thing. And you are speaking about entitlement. You are not entitled to it. The fact that you are acting does not automatically mean that you will get the job and you have secured that position. You must go through the process like everyone else, right? I take that, good sir.
Yes.
I am adding on to that without taking anything away from your very valid point. I'm adding.
Sure.
So if I've been acting for 6 years and
Okay, yes.
the employer did not see any need to remove me because
Okay,
I
yes.
assume because I did not mess up.
Okay,
Because if I were to mess up, I wouldn't even be in that acting position for 6 years. They would find someone very soon to act whilst they are looking for the processes to unfold. So I'm saying there must be an element of not being, it could be that the employer is disingenuous if after 6 years they say I'm not suitable.
I beg to support your statement. If you say this person is not qualified for the post, let me say I give you, there is what is called key performance areas.
Yes.
If I give you 4 out of 5 all the time.
Yeah. Oh, Komani, it's not me, Komani. We've lost Komani. Please call back, Komani. I wanted to hear what you had to say. 14 minutes to 10 o'clock. Please keep those calls coming through on 011-883-0702.
Local government elections aren't just about municipalities and councillors. They're about people like you and the park where your children play, the streetlights that guide you to the bus stop, the neighborhood where you want to feel safe. The truth is, what happens in the council chamber doesn't stay there. It finds its way into the lives of ordinary people like you. So in the run-up to the local government elections, 702, Cape Talk and EWN will be where your concerns become the conversation, your community becomes the story, and your voice matters, because this is more than local. It's personal. Follow every moment of the local government election on 702, Cape Talk and EWN.co.za. Download the EWN app.
Why can't Joburg keep our taps running? What needs to be done to fix our city's water supply? Can it be rectified, or are we doomed to run dry? If you want to know more of these issues, stream to Joburg Dialogues on Thursday at 6 p.m. The first in the series. This Thursday focuses on what is happening with Joburg Water. Register to join online on our citynews.co.za. It's on Thursday at 6 p.m. The Joburg Dialogues hosted by our City News and the Johannesburg Business School.
Every child deserves the chance to learn, grow, and dream. At Terra Life Foundation, we're committed to supporting schools and creating opportunities for children who need them most. But we can't do it alone. Your donation helps provide resources, hope, and a brighter future for learners across South Africa. Join us in making a lasting difference. Together, we can change lives. One child, one school, one future at a time. Visit terralifefoundation.co.za to donate today.
Dad, how come Mom's not coming to my soccer game?
Well, Mom isn't allowed to come to your soccer games anymore.
Is it because she tried to tackle Coach KB for giving me a red card?
Maybe.
Humans who fiercely protect the people they love. Welcome. Search Liberty Protect to protect your life and legacy today. Liberty, in it with you, all of you. Liberty Group Limited, a licensed life insurer, an authorized FSP, and part of the Standard Bank Group. T's and C's, risks and limitations apply.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
702 indeed. Clem is not here. My name is Thabo Sholemashao. I'm in his stead. We're together till 12. Great having you with us. I keep taking your calls on 072702 1702. But first, let's start with the voice notes, please, if we can, Abel.
Good morning, Cabinet team. Tabo, about the crime sweeping Gauteng and the rest of South Africa. I reside in Tembisa. And let me tell you, we have resorted to hiring private security. You know, private security is something that we thought it's a phenomena for suburbs, not townships. But here we are today. We have private security patrolling 24/7 in my section. Other sections have resorted to installing cameras and boom gates because the police are doing nothing. The only time you see the police, it is when police visits Spaza shop to do whatever they do there daily. Unfortunately, we are alone. We have to survive. We have to be secured.
Good morning, 702. Good morning. No, Mr. Thabo, you know, this thing about break-ins, it's a problem. We had a break-in as well out here in Boksburg, and went to the police, explained to the police that I know exactly who did it. And the question they asked me is that, okay, do you have insurance on the property? I said, yeah, no, there is insurance, but it's not about the insurance. It's the principle of the whole thing. Of course, what happened was the break-in happened. They took rings, N, but the person left behind a copy of their ID. You know, that was in the house. So went to the police and absolutely nothing happened up until this very day. So to report stuff like break-ins and all of that, it's just a waste. So those numbers are definitely not correct.
Hi, good morning. Talk of break-ins. Every time I reported a break-in for my small shop, the police would come, take fingerprints, and they disappear. But interestingly, insurance and security companies would come to offer me a cover for business, a better cover for business, and quick response by the security companies. That was 3 times in a row when it happened to me. The 4th and 5th time, when I decided not to report, there was no insurance, there was no security company coming. However, in all those 3 times that I reported, after fingerprints were taken, that was the end of the issue.
Wow.
I've never heard from them again. Thank you.
Goodness me.
JJ from Randbeck.
JJ, thanks for that. Really appreciate that call. Keep those calls coming through on 011-883-0702. John, thanks for your patience. You've been holding for some time from Four Ways.
Yes, morning, Tabo.
Morning, sir.
Look, 2 things. On the police, it's no surprise. The police are busy killing each other and stealing public money. Why do you expect they'll have time for community? Number 2, this thing, I don't know which world Thabo Mashole lives really. I mean, it's very common in government that they will get you acting whilst they are looking for somebody, and they are not looking for qualification or experience. They are looking for somebody that is malleable, somebody that they can manipulate to do their daily work. And that is why, Thabo, we will never develop unless we change a government. I just traveled from Germany yesterday, and it's quite impressive, you know. If you look at our parastatals, all of them, most of them have gone through protracted times of acting people. And it's got nothing to do with that they are headhunting for a very experienced, qualified person who are usually there in the system, and they overlook them because they are looking for people that are connected. You have to be connected. That's the key word, Thabo, to get a good job in government. And that poison, unfortunately, is spilling over spilled over into the parastatal, our quasi-government organization, and even now private sector. And that's where we are as a country, and we're doomed, basically. Thank you.
Yeah, John, before you go away, I think you've made a very important point where a preference is made not based on merit, but based on perhaps proximity to power. And that determines who gets the job and who doesn't. And as a result, you are just occupying space. You are a placeholder for someone else to come and fill in that vacancy as soon as they find that person and the time for that person to come and occupy. So, but I mean, I'm sure you know how unfair it is, even though no one is entitled to that position, even when they were acting. There's an element of exploitation, abuse of process, and somehow it doesn't go augur well for the organization that does whatever it does at that point. But I mean, what's your recourse, John? Do you not avail yourself? Do you not raise your hand when they are asking you to act? What's the recourse?
No, you do. I think it's really up to us as citizens. We have to push back, to say we don't want to be governed like that. We don't want a system like that. Because we're taking our kids to school, Tabo, to qualified. Let me tell you, you've got the best chance of being successful overseas working where you'll be judged on merit. You'll be judged on your capability than back here at home. And I mean, in the country, really, citizens do not have faith in their own system. Those systems are doomed. How is the country ever going to improve? I met a Nigerian guy who took me from Uber guy. He told me, intelligent people in my country, Nigeria, they use their intelligence to steal from the poor, to steal public funds. I said, it's the same in South Africa, my friend.
Yeah.
They're not using their knowledge and in power. Cyril is not using his power to build on the legacy of Mandela. He's using his power to look after himself and his family. As simple as that.
Frantz Fanon had mentioned this type of situation. Excuse me, John. He mentioned this type of situation about the post-colonialism era, where he said that those who they're formerly oppressed, when they occupy power after the project of colonialism, they will then create a system in which proximity to power becomes the order of the day. Instead of competence, it would be a clique of individuals who will then run the country. And I'm wondering to what extent was that true. But also, we must acknowledge that it did happen in the past as well. I don't want to be blind to that. People were picked from the Boer de Bond and many other organizations. But I suppose what you would argue and say, pick competent individuals. Even if you pick people that you prefer, pick competent people.
Absolutely. Thabo, I don't deny that. I mean, my beef is that Mangope, Mpepu, those people stole and were corrupt and they were proxies of the apartheid system. But guess what? My mother always said they are stealing, but they make sure that at least the public has got water, they've got good roads, they've got good clinic, they've got schools. Now, what have we got? We've got nothing. This guy's a bunch of gangsters that are basically just stealing our money. And
John from Fourways. John from I've run out of time. Very interesting views. Do you agree with John? Do you disagree? 072-702-1702. 2 minutes to 10 o'clock.
Yeah. Morning, Tabo. So regarding the listener who spoke about Pito and Clement Manyathela. So Pito is bringing people that he trusts, people that he has worked with, that he trusts, that he knows that if he is with these people, then he will be able to do the job. So that's why he doesn't want Clement Manyathela. And it happens all the time. CEO of companies do that. When they get appointed, they bring people with them. The first person will be the secretary. They will bring the secretary over to that company, the new company. So it happens all the time. So saying, hey, we're going to go back, why Clement is not appointed? No. People has to appoint the people he trusts. Thank you. This is also from Fourways.
The skies are blue and Joburg is ready to welcome you outdoors. Explore scenic hiking trails, cycle through Soweto,
enjoy a relaxed picnic in the park, browse bustling markets, or dance the day away at a festival. This spring, you can experience the spirit of Joburg in countless ways. Get out, get active, and fall in love with Joburg. Discover more at visit.joburg.
Smart business moves mean more cash flow. Switch to OUTsurance Business Insurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Here's Dr. Fahim from Matrix Dental.
We were with our previous insurers for many years prior to the switch. We found that OUTsurance really understood our business needs. We are happy with our premiums. I wish we had switched sooner.
Get a quote to switch and save today. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 0800 60,000. Licensed insurer in FSP. TCs and information online.
Mandy Wiener's podcast, The Hope Dealers, tells the stories of the people changing the narrative in Joburg. Mandy has spent weeks witnessing the passion and the collective action of the Hope Dealers, who are individuals and organizations working to restore and rejuvenate Jozi. Catch a new episode of the podcast on the Midday Report every Wednesday after the news headlines, or watch the full The Hope Dealers video on Prime Media Plus. This week, Mandy spends time with Sfiso Kumbi and the Urban Surfer team, bringing dignity and redemption to rubbish reclaimers who collect what we call rubbish. The Hope Dealers on Prime Media Plus.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. The Western Cape High Court is today expected to begin its review of a parliamentary report that has led to President Cyril Ramaphosa facing impeachment. Ramaphosa launched the application in May after the Constitutional Court ordered Parliament to begin impeachment proceedings against him. In 2022, the ANC majority rejected the report that's now the subject of the review, and Ramaphosa subsequently dropped a previous application to challenge its lawfulness. Ramaphosa says the panel, which compiled the Section 89 report, misconceived its mandate, misjudged the information before it, and strayed before the 4 charges it was considering. Lindsay Dentlinker has more.
After the African Transformation Movement tabled an impeachment motion against President Ramaphosa in 2022, former Speaker Nosiviwe Mapisa-Qakula appointed a 3-person panel led by former Chief Justice Zandile Ngcobo to probe allegations that President Cyril Ramaphosa had breached his oath of office. This after members from the police's VIP protection unit chased after US dollars stolen from the president's Phala farm in 2020. It's Ramaphosa's contention that the panel, which also included retired Judge Thokozile Masipa and Advocate Mahlapa Selo, focused on the absence of explanations when it suggested that he faces impeachment. Ramaphosa further asserts that the panel relied on hearsay, a confidential Namibian police report, and an audio clip of which the veracity has not been determined in coming to its conclusions. He adds that the panel failed to consider the legality of the information put before it and whether this information was admissible to determine whether he should face impeachment. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
A police forensic investigator is expected to conclude his evidence this morning in the trial within a trial against alleged crime boss Vismusi Matlala and 4 others. Sergeant Thabiso Mohale is the 6th witness to take the stand since the defense challenged the state's case, particularly the arrest of accused one, Musa Kekana. Matlala, Kekana and 3 others face a combined 25 charges, including conspiracy to commit murder and attempted murder. Dimakatsole Shuru has the details.
Mohale's evidence centered on photographs he took inside the Mercedes-Benz Viano in which Kekana and Michael Puleta were traveling when they were arrested. His testimony has also raised questions about a key detail in the evidence of Captain Pimi Sekhobela, the second witness in the trial within a trial. Sekhobela testified that Kekana, after his arrest, allowed him to enter and conduct a warrantless search of his property. He said Kekana used a remote control that was in his pocket to open the gate, but Mohale told the court the blue gate remote, which can be clearly seen in the pictures he took, was never removed from the Viano. This could support the defense's version that police entered Kekana's property forcefully, as the gate remote control was said to be left behind at the first scene where he was arrested. Dimakatsole Shoro, Eyewitness News.
A former SAPS anti-gang unit member charged with corruption is expected to cross-examine a co-accused in the trial of suspected underworld gang boss Nafis Modak. Accused number 10, Yannick Adonis, yesterday told the Western Cape High Court senior police officials sanctioned a grenade attack on slain top cop Charles Kinnear as part of an operation targeting Modak. Adonis faces charges of conspiracy to commit murder related to his alleged involvement in the botched attack on Kenya in 2019. Carlo Peterson has more.
Yannick Adonis told the court he was an awaiting trial prisoner at Halderstrom Correctional Facility in 2019 when he met co-accused Ashley Tabisha. Tabisha, who was an anti-gang unit and tactical response team officer, was part of a team escorting Adonis to and from court. Adonis told the court Tabisha later introduced him to the late Major General Andre Lincoln, who was head of the AGU at the time. Adonis says Tabisha also knew about Lincoln's alleged plan to stage a grenade attack on slain top cop Charles Kinnear in a bid to frame and kill Nafis Modak. Tabisha, who faces charges of corruption and is representing himself, is expected to cross-examine Adonis today. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
And at least 16 people have been killed and 28 others injured in a bus crash in Egypt. 20 ambulances were on the scene of the accident this morning, which occurred between the popular tourist towns of Dahab and Nuweiba on South Sinai's eastern coast. The cause of the crash is not yet known. Gold is trading at $4,321.43 an ounce. The rand is at 16.15 to the dollar, 21.81 to the pound, 18.69 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $95.53 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got heavy delays. In fact, hectic traffic volumes around the Sandton CBD this morning. If you are traveling along Grayston Drive, an accident near Rivonia Road causing heavy delays coming out of the M1 off-ramp. Then there's also queuing traffic along Catherine Street. This is towards the Grayston off-ramp due to faulty traffic lights. And if you are heading towards Polsoff, more delays on the N1 North between Malibongo Drive and the Winnie Mandela Drive exit. That's due to an earlier accident.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 27 and 29 degrees. The top story in EWN The SAR. The Western Cape High Court is today expected to begin its review of a parliamentary report that has led to President Cyril Ramaphosa facing impeachments.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7.
And 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
You're on 702, 7 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thanks very much for joining us. Clement is not here. My name is Thabo Shole Mashao. I'm here with you till 12. Great having you with us. If you've just joined us, where have you been? You've missed out on a fantastic and fabulous open line, if I were to say so myself. We spoke about people who are in acting positions and don't end up getting those jobs permanently. The disappointment, the let down that they feel, and the discouragement that goes with that. And that was on the backdrop of Helman Kalele, the assistant coach, former assistant coach of Bafana Bafana. What's going to happen to him, given that he may not be the assistant coach under Pitso Musiman? I said he may not be. And so what should happen to him then? And people said, listen, you sign up for these jobs knowing what you're getting yourself into. So let alone the disappointment. You're an adult. You need to make do with the situation as it presents itself. And we also spoke a little bit about house breakings. There were over 1 million of them 2025-2026 financial years. And that is very troubling. And I asked if you are in that million figure. Did you report? If so, what was the outcome? Or are you one of those people who now prefer to protect themselves because you feel that not much will be done if you go and report about it. And thanks for your voice notes that came on 072 702 1702. There's still tons and tons of them still coming through. Really appreciate it. And don't forget that at any time you can go to Prime Media Plus and catch up on what you missed out on 702 and much, much more. 9 minutes after 10 o'clock. Right now, we will be looking at the rehabilitation in correctional facilities on the backdrop of overcrowding.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
Well, the correctional services system is grappling with severe overcrowding, and the minister of that department, Peter Groenewald, said in May that the department was operating at 58% overcapacity, while identifying rising inmate numbers as one of the key pressures facing the system. My guest, Monique Miller, spent almost 3 weeks in Pollsmoor prison after being arrested on firearm charges that were later withdrawn. She has described conditions of severe overcrowding, inadequate facilities, and violence as hindering the process of rehabilitation. Monique joins us now, and she has taken up a role of being an activist in this space. Monique, thanks for your time. Welcome to 702. Good morning to you.
Hi, Tabo. Good morning.
Morning, but maybe briefly, just for context, before you get thrown with stones around, do you want to share a little bit, very briefly, about how did you end up finding yourself in Pollsmoor prison?
So it really, honestly, was a wrong place, wrong time situation, and I truly can't hold anyone else accountable other than myself for not being aware of the dangers surrounding me in that moment. So just to give you context, I'd taken a lift home with some people after a night out, and the car was pulled over on the highway for reckless driving. We were pulled out of the car because there were too many of us in the car, and the police started searching the car and found an illegal firearm on one of the gentlemen and arrested all 6 of us.
Mm-hmm. And post that, how was your experience inside? Because I understand you spent about 3 weeks in Pollsmoor prison.
Traumatic would be sugarcoating it, to say the least. After coming out, I did not leave the 4 walls of my bedroom for at least a month. It was really hard to reintegrate into society after having gone through some of those experiences.
And is that why then you took up the role of being an activist? And is this where you experienced that overcrowding is a serious problem with our prison system?
Well, to be fair, I have been partaking in activism for most of my life.
Sure.
I've worked with many different organizations.
Yes.
But prison reform, yes, that specifically is after my experience there and having witnessed firsthand the injustice that human beings are experiencing.
Share with us some of those injustices, because clearly they pushed you now to push for reformation and push for rehabilitation to be prioritized.
Well, the one thing that I would like to keep reiterating is just basic human rights. Every human being, whether it be a criminal, whichever way that you would like to label it, has a human right. And that would be access to running water, shelter, medical care, food. And I have to say, unfortunately, with what I've witnessed, most of that is being stripped away from prisoners. And I understand that society has this perception that, well, they did the crime and they deserve the time and they deserve ill treatment. That's terrible, because there are people awaiting a trial to prove their innocence that are not guilty of a crime, that are sitting in a similar boat as me, that was really not meant to be there, supposed to be there. And they just, the department, the state, they just say, oopsie, sorry, off you go. But some people don't walk away, almost untouched the way that I did. Some people walk away with diseases. Some people, their life, their mental illnesses. There's a lot that comes with that. And so it's and even to the inmates themselves that are convicted criminals. Is the point not to rehabilitate them, and once they are released, come into society better people?
So, what was it your experience that there was less rehabilitation, more than anything else, and because of overcrowding, rehabilitation can be effected efficiently?
There is no rehabilitation whatsoever. If in fact some of the conditions are that are used as torture techniques in different forms. So, like for example, lack of sleep or starving someone is a torture technique to harm their physical and mental well-being. So there are times where prisoners are starved. That wasn't my personal experience, but it counters that what I heard from prisoners inside. And I can believe it, given the circumstances that I witnessed, and I saw the treatment of the wardens towards the prisoners. And then, what was your question? So the rehabilitation and...
Yeah, I was asking if it's difficult for rehabilitation to take place, mainly due to overcrowding.
Yeah, it's impossible. It truly is, honestly. Like,
If you had a chance, I mean, if it were for you, your vision as an activist, what should take place? What sort of rehabilitation can take place, and how can it take place?
well, in my time there was a change of from the ladies in my cell, and purely based off the fact that I gave them some of my time, I gave them a little bit of hope and a little bit of love. And that changed the demeanor entirely from a lot of those women. And that's me having nothing to offer, if you understand what I'm saying. Whereas if they were just treated as the humans that they are, not animals, not fed food that you wouldn't even give to your dog. There was one lady, for example, she had a mental, she was undiagnosed, but she had some issues, and so she was speaking in tongues during the day. She was causing a lot of chaos, and because the wardens did not want to deal with her, they put her on sleeping pills all day long. So what do you think happens when the clock strikes 12? She is up and she's causing absolute chaos in the middle of the night, disrupting everyone's sleep. Fight breaks out. Something as simple as that could be deterred so easily if it was handled correctly, and if there was a proper medical team on site to diagnose her and to give her the necessary medication. And it would avoid, I literally witnessed her finger being bitten off in the middle of the night because of that incident. So these things can be avoided. And yes, it's easy to say that these people are violent, but they are faced with circumstances that almost forces them to be. People start fighting and wanting to kill each other over food. What else are you expecting when you're creating those circumstances?
What does your organization or you as an activist aim to do? What do you do on a day-to-day? Do you lobby the minister, the department? What does your work entail, Monique?
Well, this prison reform only just started. Like this, I'm only literally a week into it,
Sure,
so I
sure.
can't. I'd be lying if I really told you. I'm figuring it out as I
Yeah.
go. But right now, I'm using my voice to spread the word and to get their attention. I mean, they are welcome to take me on in whichever way or capacity they would like, because I am aware that the Department of Correctional Services are saying that I'm spreading misinformation, and that's okay. I know that the facts are the facts, and it can easily be proven.
Monique, really appreciate your time, and I'm hoping that we'll speak again as your organization grows, as your voice gets a little bit louder. Monique Miller, activist in the correctional service facilities industry, and she's concerned about the conditions of the prison system, and she says that there's less rehabilitation taking place due to overcrowding. I'd love to hear from you on 072-702-1702. That's where you can send your voice notes. Alternatively, you can just call us directly on 011-883-0702, 18 after 10.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
Miles Budu needs no introduction. South African prisoners' rights activist. You'd know him very well if you have lived in this country for as long as some of us have. And he has something to say. Welcome, Miles. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning. Thank you for having me. I've just listened to your callers, your guest, and what she's saying has been happening since the dawn of our democracy, post 1994. I don't want to talk about pre-1994. And without any further ado, I would like to come in contact with her so that we could form a collaboration and alliance, so that we could dig up many other individuals, victims of what she just made public. It is a daily occurrence. That is regardless of, in the Constitution, there is a subsection, there is a paragraph that talks about the rights of prisoners in terms of accommodation, exercise, nutrition, reading material, and medical attention. I don't want to even go there. All I want is that, can she come in contact with me, or I'll come in contact with her, so that we collaborate and keep the issues of prisoners' rights in the eyes of the public and the taxpayers.
Miles, thanks very much. Our producers will exchange numbers between the two of you. Really appreciate your call. 20 minutes after 10 o'clock. And my guest now, speaking on behalf of Correctional Services, is Singabako Ngumalo. Singabako, thanks for your time. Welcome to 702. Good morning, sir.
A very good morning, and thank you for having us.
Yes, I don't know if you were listening earlier on, but if you were not, I'll just try to paraphrase. We had a discussion with Monique Miller, who is now an activist in this space, and she was lamenting the fact that overcrowding hinders rehabilitation. That's why you have so many issues of violence and mental health issues in our correctional facilities. Is this, in your view, the major issue that is facing the department currently, Singabako?
Okay, firstly, I think it's important that we avoid conflating issues. I think I did respond extensively on that particular matter. I think News 24 ran a story, and where I challenged a number of statements that were made in that regard, in a way that we said, look, we do have overcrowding in the correctional system, but that is an indicative of the criminal justice system as a whole, to say why are cases moving in the pace that they are, and the investigations, and why are people spending so much time in our facilities whilst waiting for their matters to be completed. And Correctional Services has done a lot in terms of building new facilities, renovating others, whilst expanding the bed space. But Correctional Services on its own will not win this battle. It requires everyone in this country to fight against crime so that we can have less people going into the correctional system. We also acknowledge that the more you have people within the correctional system, it does become strained, and it therefore says the services that are being rendered there will also be affected. I'll just give you a typical example, or let me just give you the inmate population. We are standing at 173,955 out of a bed space of 107,000. That is saying to us we're overcrowded by 62%. It's something which is unheard of, in our history, as a correctional system, having overcrowding at this particular level. But as I've said, the department is doing something about it, but it requires everyone else to do it. Hence, even the minister has been engaging extensively countries in the SADC region to say, let us start talking about interstate transfer so that we can't see if we can't find a solution to say, with the 30,527 foreign nationals in our system, can those countries take their people and bring South Africans over this side so that at least we can reduce that particular number?
Singabako, share a bit about your rehabilitation programs that are taking place in your facilities.
Okay, what's happening, before we even get to that, when a person is admitted in a correctional facility, there is something called, there is a tool that we take people through, which is an assessment tool. There we are saying, you have Singabako who's just been admitted. Yes, the warrant may have written that Singa committed murder, but it is important that we assess so that we can say, what is it that is wrong with this particular person that has been brought to us? Before we say, okay, you are in here for murder, before we even determine what type of programs will benefit you. So that assessment takes about 21 days. Out of that particular assessment, we're then able to draw what we call a correctional sentence plan. That is like a Bible which will guide you towards your rehabilitation journey, because you may come in as a group having committed the same offense, but you may respond differently, you may have different needs. So that particular tool will then assist us to say, okay, here's your correctional sentence plan. This is what you ought to follow until such time that you are eligible to be considered for parole placement. So out of those programs that would have been identified for you, you will go through them. You will then be assessed by a team of our professionals. We have professional nurses, we have psychologists, social workers, a number of other professionals, educationists, you name them. They then take you through, they will even do an assessment so that when you go before the parole board, they can then attest to say, indeed, Singabako participated in the following rehabilitation programs. If, let's say, it was identified during the assessment that you've got anger issues, they will then indicate that indeed you completed the anger management course, and how did you perform there? From there, what else did you do in terms of rehabilitation, to a point where you are then considered for a parole placement? So it's not a matter of saying we have 13 programs, participate in all of them, therefore you are ready. No, it's needs based, so that at the end of the day, one, we can correct the offending behavior in you. Two, we can then prepare you for life post-incarceration.
Singabako, what programs do you have in place of rehabilitation?
Okay. I think it was important that
I'm just conscious of time. I'm not being difficult in any way. I'm just and these are genuine questions. I'm not trying to spark a fight. So that's why I'm pushing you for time. It sounds like I'm rude. I'm not rude at all. I'm just conscious of time, my brother. Yeah.
Okay. Singer is coming in, let's say for murder, but out of that, Singer has this love for money. So you will have, we do have a course that deals with people who are struggling in terms of finances, to say how best can we assist you in terms of that, in terms of financial management, but also how to deal with that particular phenomenon. And after that, I've also mentioned the issue of let's say if you've got anger issues, there is a course that deals with that. But there's also a course that also deals with, let's say, violent behaviors, but also psychosocial, to say what is it that perhaps, after, let's say, the criminologists would have identified when they assessed you, to say, yes, we do have a program related to that. As I've said, it's based. It cuts across different disciplines. Hence, we have all these disciplines within. We've got all these professionals within the correctional system, so that they respond to a plethora of needs that people may have displayed when they come into our
Are your programs compulsory for the inmates?
Our programs are made available to inmates. But if an inmate decides that I want to sit there and do nothing, unfortunately, that inmate will sit there until such time that his sentence expires. But that person will not benefit from parole placement because you have not been rehabilitated. But come a time where we are forced to take you out because your sentence has ended, and unfortunately, we'll have to place you out.
What is the percentage of those who participate in those programs?
It's a difficult one to say this is a particular percentage, because remember, it's different programs and a person will not do all of them.
No, I take that. Yeah.
I think the correct way is to say how many offenders have correctional sentence plan and how many of them will follow those correctional sentence plan up until the end. And I can say to you, over 65% of those do. But what we picked up when we were being audited by the Auditor General was that much more needs to be done in terms of offenders not just participating but completing the programs, and the difference being seen to that effect.
The question that I want to ask, and I'm glad that you asked yours, but the one that I want to ask, how many take up the programs? In that population that you have just given to us, that it's 62% more than ordinarily what you would have catered for. How many take up the percentage that takes up rehabilitation programs?
Yes, it's fair there to engage. And let me take you back. Out of that 173,955 in the population, over 63,000 of those are remand detainees, meaning it's people who are attending to court cases. They do not participate in rehabilitation programs because they are presumed to be innocent. So you have roughly about 104,000 sentenced offenders. So out of that 104,000, you then have a population of those who are serving less than 24 months, whose participation in programs is really minor because there is nothing really meaningful that a person can benefit in less than 24 months. So roughly you will have, let's say, maybe about 80,000 people who are saying are involved in long-term programs, who will then participate and get to benefit from those programs.
So 80 are involved in the programs. They are taking up programs.
No, I'm just breaking it down so that you understand it better. I said to you, you have a population of 173,955.
About 60, it's remand, as you said.
In that 63,000, you minus it's remand. And then out of it, I said, you have a category of people who are sentenced to less than 24 months.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what is that category?
24 months, those are short-term offenders. They will
How
do
many?
more like agricultural work.
Sure.
They'll do like agricultural work. So I'm saying, therefore, you are left with the population. This is an estimation of, let's say, maybe about 80,000 people who will now be involved in medium to long-term programs, who are then, they have to participate in those programs. Otherwise, they will never be
but not all 80 participate, right?
Out of that, one will have to go back to say, out of that, how many of them have completed? Because remember, people will attend these programs. But then how many of them will eventually complete those programs?
Sure. Yeah, but participation is also important because you can't complete without participating first. So if you can't get in, you are definitely not going to. Can I ask you, hold on 1 second. Can I just take in a quick important caller? Then I'm going to ask you to respond to it. George, you're in Tembisa. Hi.
Yes, I would like to comment on the issue of offenders in prison concerning the issue of subjecting to be assaulted. The rehabilitation issue, I heard about this. This guy from prison was talking about the rehabilitation and all the courses that are offered to people. Those courses indeed are offered, but most of the people, they just attend them for the sake of being released and being out. But the other thing is, most of the offenders are subjected to a severe assault from the prison official, whereby those departments that he is talking about, they are there. But really, truly speaking, most of the offenders, the rehabilitation is no longer working.
George in Tembisa. Singabako, I have about 20 seconds.
That one, it is not true that in the main offenders are subjected to being assaulted. We have watchdog bodies such as the Judicial Inspection for Correctional Services. They have those figures. They are even there in our annual reports where you can see that the number of assaults have declined over the years. So that is completely not true. You can even check our annual report to satisfy yourself in that particular manner. But also, the programs are there for people to benefit from, and officials are there. A number of people do benefit from this, but it cannot be that because one person is giving a particular perspective from one single view, then people then suddenly believe that, oh no, the system doesn't work. What about
I have
those
to
people
run.
who've gone through the program and that we wonder about
and
it?
that's why
I
we
think
have
need
you
be fair in that
to
particular,
balance, right? And that's why we have you to balance so that it's not a one directional road. Thanks, Singabako. Singabako Ngumalo is spokesperson for Correctional Services. We late for Eyewitness News headlines 27 to 11. A million apologies, Fiso. Welcome. What's the latest?
Thanks, Thabo. Good morning. President Cyril Ramaphosa's legal representative, Vim Trengrove, says Ramaphosa believes he at all times acted correctly and in good faith following the theft of US dollars from his Phala Phala farm in 2020. The Western Cape High Court is today considering the president's application to review the parliamentary report compiled by an independent panel that concluded he has a case to answer in respect of his conduct. The Matlaga Commission has resumed cross-examination of retired Hawks head Godfrey Libya today. Libya is being probed over his deployment of Hawks officers to an SAPS takedown operation in December 2024. The raid was to effect the arrest of murder-accused Katiso Molefe. And families in Nepal are holding symbolic funeral ceremonies to liberate the souls of loved ones missing since deadly flash floods swept away their villages and homes in the Himalayan region a week ago. Emergency teams have recovered more than 1,000 bodies and nearly 4,500 people are missing after a wave of freezing water, rocks and debris triggered a high-altitude glacial collapse roared down the China-Nepal border. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 11 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
If you're traveling within the Sandton CBD and you're wondering why traffic is so gridlocked, this is due to an event that's happening at the Sandton Convention Center, a business HR summit that's taking place from today to tomorrow. As a result, traffic is heavily backed up along several routes within the area. Rivonia Road, Grayston Drive, Sandton Drive, as well as West Street, heavily backed up. If you can, please try to avoid the CBD. And then, of course, if you are traveling on the M1 South, we still have got that accident right near Empire Road. Delays coming out of the Kilani Bends. There's also queuing traffic on the N3 North between Van Buren Road and the Hiluli's interchange. Roadworks are causing these delays. While heading towards the Joburg CBD, more delays on the M2 West between Heidelberg Road and the Crown turnoff. Please be on the lookout there. Traveling in the city of Tshwane, we still have got roadworks taking place on the N1 North, causing delays just as you approach the Rigel Avenue exit. Please try to use the N14 North instead. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
As a graduate professional, you know success takes time, discipline, and smart decisions. Retirement is no different. Years of saving and investing help build your wealth so it can support the retirement you deserve. Join us at the annual PPS Retirement Summit on 19 September and gain insights to grow and preserve your long-term wealth.
Because consistent contributions and protecting what you've built all add up. Visit pps.coza/retirement summit now. PPS, success is better shared. PPS is a licensed life insurer controlling company and authorized FSP.
Land your dream destination with Hollywood Bet Spinner Zonke. Island sunsets, epic adventures, the getaway of a lifetime. Your next trip could be a spin away. Bet R2 or more on selected booming game slots for your chance to win one of 3 incredible bucket list escapes for you and 4 friends, or a share of 1 million rand in cash. Imagine the stories. Live the dream with Hollywood Bets. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
They said you were too small, not worth their time. But you built anyway. Made a plan. Made another plan. Today, Yoko frees you from survival mode. So you can breathe again. Make smarter calls and do what you love. We once gave you access. Now we're giving you tools to compete with the big guys. Yoko, let's grow.
702 and the Dis-Chem Foundation are shining the spotlight on the health matters you want to know more about. Here's what we explored this month.
Most exciting coming up is Socks for Smiles.
Tell us all about that.
It's a campaign that we are launching with Dis-Chem. The idea is that you wear your mismatched socks on the 16th of October. And it's a really fun initiative that we've started to try and encourage inclusivity and celebrate difference. So we want them to wear mismatched socks, and that means going into the Dis-Chem stores and buying your 20 Rand Socks for Smiles sticker and supporting this cause so that we can raise more money for more surgeries.
In Conversation on Afternoon Drive with John Perlman. Brought to you by the Dis-Chem Foundation, caring for the community on 702.
For the questions families don't always know how to ask and the answers they should have. Liberty Life and Legacy Protection Conversations with Clement Manyathela on 702.
Liberty Lifestyle Protection Conversations on Clement Manyathela Show. WhatsApp your question about lifestyle protection to 072 702 1702 with the keyword Liberty Protection. And we could call you. 22 minutes to 11 o'clock. Welcome back. My name is Thabo Mashao. I'm in for Clement. And on our discussion now, we'll be in conversation with Liberty, how to maintain stability and dignity through uncertainty. You know, you've worked hard to build a certain life, a life that feels like your own, your independence, your choices, and the things that make life yours. But when life changes unexpectedly, how do you protect the way of life you've worked for so hard to build? Liberty Lifestyle Protection is about having conversations today that can help you maintain stability and dignity, at least through certainty. Tsungai Masindeke is with us. Tsungai is certain financial planner, chief financial planner at Liberty, and Tsungai is going to help us through this very interesting conversation today that can help you maintain stability and dignity through uncertainty. And this will help us to share practical insights on protecting the life you've built and helping your future feel more secure. Tsungai, thanks for your time. Always great having you. Welcome to 702.
Good morning, Thabo. Good morning to your wonderful listeners. Thank you for having me.
Yes, you know, I butchered your title. It's actually Certified Financial Planner at Liberty, right?
You are spot on this time. Thanks, Thabo.
Yeah. Tsungai, you know, when we talk about financial planning, people often focus on building wealth. Should we be paying just as much attention to protecting the wealth and lifestyle we've already built?
Definitely, Thabo. So for me, I always say to clients, you need to think about your wealth creation journey like a pyramid. If I were to give you, Thabo, this morning a box of Lego and I asked you to build a pyramid, where would you start?
At the bottom.
At the bottom, right? And you'd call that bottom the foundation. Is there a specific reason, Thabo, why I would start with the bottom and not the top?
Yeah, stability, I would assume.
Stability,
and
right?
building on something, I think if you build on a foundation, you are more likely to get higher.
Excellent. You hit the nail on the head because when we talk about wealth protection, what we're actually talking about is that base, that foundation. You want to be in a position to actually build on a strong foundation. Because if you try to build in the air, guess what? Your Lego pieces are going to fall to the ground. So it's the same principle with wealth creation, where the base, the foundation is important. And that base constitutes protection of wealth. So that's where we then say it's important to have your life cover, because if you pass away, your dependents can actually have a stepping stone in terms of sustaining their livelihood going forward. That's where we talk about the foundation of having critical illness cover, because if you incur or are diagnosed with a dread disease, you want to make sure that you've got the financial muscle to actually sustain the high medical bills and costs. If you become either temporarily or permanently disabled, guess what? You've got the income protection as a good foundation to help you still maintain your lifestyle, even though you're not in a position to work. So it's fundamental that the foundation is correct, and that foundation is all about protecting what you already have, protecting the assets you've already accumulated.
Tsungai, you know, I often say to the disgruntlement of the producers that such topics are not sexy and not fashionable, but they're extremely important. And often we shy away from them because they're not controversial and they don't have the Madlanga Commission riddled in them. But we insure our cars, Tsungai. We insure our homes. We even insure our phones. But how often do people like myself think about protecting their ability to earn their income, to ensure your ability to do that? Because tomorrow is not guaranteed.
You know, Tabo, I love how you brought in the aspect of actually protecting your earning or your income generating capability. So if I were to give you a very simple example, if you get an individual who takes home, say, for example, 50,000 Rand a month over 12 months, and we assume that their productive lifetime or the number of years they're actually going to be working is approximately 40. This means that that person has a 24 million earning potential over their lifetime. Now, what doesn't make sense to me is I can insure my car at 1,000 Rand a month. I can insure my household contents at, say, 2,000 Rand a month, but I'm not prepared to ensure the 24 million potential earning capacity going into the future. So for me, when you actually think about it that way, it's a no-brainer. You must make sure you insure you yourself, because actually you're your biggest asset going into the future.
And I mean, speaking of assets, we are worried about our assets, but earning an income is an asset. And for many working people, the ability to earn an income is arguably their biggest financial asset. Why are we not thinking of it in that way, Tsumai?
Lack of financial education. And I'm so privileged to be here today because we have an opportunity to actually move that dial. We have an opportunity to change the narrative, because the more people learn, the more people are exposed to these kind of conversations, the better the quality of financial decisions they can make progressively. So do yourself a favor, get in touch with the financial planner, a certified financial planner for that matter. Get in touch with the financial advisor, because they're going to help provoke thought as well as ideas you would not inherently have thought about yourself. Case in point, this conversation we're having, your income is critical to ensure that you actually insure it. Same thing with insuring yourself against rare disease. Right now, 1 in 3 females are being diagnosed with breast cancer. 1 in 4 males are being diagnosed with prostate cancer. And we know the average treatment of cancer can be in north of 250,000 Rand. Now, between me and you, I don't know if you've got 250K stashed somewhere.
I
That if
wish.
something happens tomorrow, you can afford the treatment. So we're saying to individuals, it's not necessarily your recovery process that's actually going to kill you. It's not the cancer that's going to kill you, but the financial bills that will kill you because you can't survive and the stress just takes you out. So let's have these conversations. Let's do what's right. Get the income protection, get the critical illness protection, because you will need it. And unfortunately, it's like having a parachute, right? You're on a plane and you jump off and you realize, actually, I don't have the parachute. It's too late. You cannot get these covers after the event. But now, whilst you're still healthy, you have an opportunity to do the right thing and put these things in place.
So now it could be that in my household or yours or anyone's household, there are more than one income earners. Assuming there are two in an average household, even then, if God forbid anything happens to one of you and you are unable to earn an income, the other one continues to work, the burden would be heavier on them. So this still becomes relevant, even if you are not the only one who's working at home.
Definitely. I mean, if you're in a household like my own, every cent matters. Now, if you're in a household where one of those incomes gets taken away, there's a huge gap in terms of income. How are you going to fulfill your financial obligations if that income actually is no longer around? That's why it then becomes important. If you've got the income protection, guess what? It ensures that you maintain your lifestyle. That's why we even call it a living benefit, because you're still living, but the benefit allows you to maintain your existing lifestyle. And a lot of people don't have the luxury of saving large stacks of money to have the recommended 3 to 6 months worth of an emergency fund. So help yourself by ensuring that you have this protection in place, so that should life happen to you, guess what? At least you've got one less worry, which is looking after your family, ensuring that bills are paid, and ensuring that you actually maintain financial stability.
12 minutes to 11 o'clock. You're on 702. My guest, Tsungai Masindeke, and Tsungai is certified financial planner at Liberty. We are just in conversation with Liberty about how to maintain stability and dignity through uncertainty. Life throws to us a number of things. It's not guaranteed that tomorrow you'll be able to work. It's not guaranteed that nothing will happen to you and life will just continue as it's been continuing. Should anything happen, God forbid, what are you going to fall back on if you can't earn income? So we're trying to explore all those conversations right now with Tsungai, and I'm happy to hear from you on 072 702 1702.
Liberty Life and Legacy Protection Conversations with Clement Manyathela. Because the future doesn't happen by chance. On 702.
Welcome back. And Tsungai, I'm just wondering, some people may, push back and say, Thabo and Tsungai, I do have some investments on the side. I'll start, drawing on them a little bit. If a rainy day comes. But sometimes it's not just a rainy day, it's a rainy month, right, Tsungai?
Yes, you have more money than you have money in the bank. And you pose such a powerful question there, Thabo, to say, if I've got investments, then surely I don't need the risk protection or the insurances. And my answer to that is always think about your household. If your monthly expenses are 30,000 Rand, Thabo, right? And we say just for a year, you need 360,000 Rand. Do you have the 360,000? And alluding to my previous question, we both said that we don't have it. So the purpose of insurance is to be in a position to delegate or to defer or to give the insurer the responsibility of looking after you when you can't look after yourself financially. So if you don't have the 360,000 and you become disabled, what are you going to do? You pay the insurer a small premium every single month so that when that life circumstance comes, guess what? They can actually come in and start paying you either a lump sum, because we do have capital disability products available that pay you once off lump sum, or they can actually just pay you on a monthly basis up until you recover. So to not have it is equally sad, because then that means you don't have the 360,000 because maybe your savings are only 12,000 Rand, but at the same time you didn't take out the insurance. So only and only if the value of the savings you have would be adequate to sustain you for 24 months can you come to me and say, you know what, I'm sorted. And for 90% of the people out there, they're not that person. So the cheaper option or the cheaper route would just be to take out the insurance.
Some people will argue, Tsungai, they'll say insurance can sometimes appear to offer nothing tangible for years of premium payments. I'm paying every single month. And what do you say to people who say this?
There's nothing intangible about peace of mind. And that's the one thing that I always say, you cannot put a price tag to your peace. You cannot put a price tag to the feeling of goodwill, because your family will be well taken care of when you're not in a position to do that. And some of these things are intrinsic. There's no physical aspect to it, but it saves you a lot of stress. It saves you a lot of heartache. It saves you a lot of pain. And because those emotions or those feelings don't have a specific tangible outcome, doesn't mean that they're invaluable. It doesn't mean that they're invalidated. So every month you pay your insurance premium, because remember, insurance premiums are pay as you go. Every month you pay your life cover premium. It means that you are leaving your family an inheritance. You're leaving them with hope. You're leaving them with an opportunity to actually survive financially when you as a main breadwinner are not there. Every month you pay that monthly premium for your disability cover. Guess what? You've got the peace of mind that if I'm involved in a motor vehicle accident tomorrow, I lose my limbs, I lose my hands, I lose my legs, my income creating capability. Guess what? I'm not a sign off, because I can still provide my family with the lifestyle they've become accustomed to as a main breadwinner. So yes, there's nothing tangible we can give you, but at the end of the day, we're giving you the most invaluable gift of surety that your family will be well taken care of. We're giving you peace of mind, and we're ensuring that legacy can be created and sustained.
So
and there can be no price tag to that.
Certainly. So where does Liberty's lifestyle protection fit in, and how can it help someone protect the life they've worked so hard to build?
Brilliant. So within the Liberty Lifestyle product, there are multiple pillars. There's a pillar for death, which we call lifestyle protector. So if you pass away, you can leave your family a lump sum, or it can even be a monthly contribution towards their living expenses or well-being. Another pillar we have is what we call absolute protector, which means that if you become permanently disabled, we'll pay you a lump sum that you can then use to maintain your lifestyle or your livelihood. We also have another pillar which we call living lifestyle, which looks after critical illness or dread diseases. So we cover up to 30 different categories of different critical illnesses, and that pays you a lump sum in the event that you are diagnosed with cancer, you have a stroke, you have a heart attack, coronary heart bypass, and 24 other categories that we actually do look after. So it's important for people to realize that financial planning is a personal journey. And we can customize the solutions to meet you at your budget, to meet you at your need, and to meet you based on what would make sense for your family at a particular life stage.
072 702 1702. I'd love to hear from you. Let me grab your text messages that have come through on the number that I've just given you now. The one coming from Jacques, and it says, in theory, ensuring your income in critical illness is a no-brainer, but most people are struggling just to get through the month. And Khahliso says, Liberty, hi guys, which is better to drop between critical illness and disability cover if affordability becomes a problem?
Wow, what a fantastic question. So for me, I always say it's not either or. You need to have a strong foundation, like we mentioned earlier on. I would encourage the listener to reduce the benefits but still have some cover. So if, for example, you had 3 million dread disease cover and you had 3 million disability cover, don't cancel either. However, what you can do if it's affordability, reduce the amounts you are insured for under both categories. So instead of having 3 million for both, maybe reduce it to 1 million dread disease, 1 million disability cover. But don't make the mistake of actually canceling it completely. Rather start by reducing the benefits of each and then take it from there.
And if someone has never thought about income protection up until now, what's the first calculation they should do? Is it looking at your monthly expenses, your debts, your savings, or income?
Brilliant question. So, like I mentioned earlier, I always start by saying, look at your monthly expenses. So if your monthly expenses are 30,000 Rand, then multiply that by 12 and multiply it by your remaining productive number of years as you work. So if you're 40 and you intend to retire at age 65, that means that you've got 25 years left of productivity and income production. So 30,000 Rand times your 12 months times 25 years means that you actually need to have at least 9 million in cover. And it can be in the form of income protection, which pays your monthly income, or it can be in the form of a lump sum, for example, your Absolute Protector Plus product with Liberty. But the important thing is, even if you can't afford the premium for 9 million, just start. Just start somewhere based on what you can afford. Rather have something than nothing, because when you fall out of that aeroplane and you don't have a parachute, it will be a sad ending for all of us to read about.
No, definitely. And it's something that you wouldn't want. But the most important thing is to start and just to get yourself going. But I suppose the mentality as well, Tsunga, is very important, to disabuse ourselves that it's only our cell phones that need insuring. It's only our household goods that need insuring, some sort of cover, I should say. Our ability to work needs to be covered as well. And that's the critical takeaway from me from this very important conversation, that how you make money is your asset and you need to protect it with all that you can. And many people have some form of cover through their employer. Is that enough, or should they be looking at what would happen if they changed jobs or left employment? Tsungai?
I love your questions, Tabo. Keep them coming. So, yes, when you're insured with your employer, it's very important to actually review the benefits you get. Because what we found is, especially for corporate benefits, most companies will have maybe life cover and funeral cover, but they don't have disability, they don't have dread disease cover, meaning that you then have to take the onus to have that in your personal capacity. In some instances, your employer will tell you, we will cover you up to 75% of your income if you become temporarily or permanently disabled. So that means that there's a gap of 25%. And like, if you're like me, who spends every single cent of their income each month, guess what? It means you're going to have that gap of 25%. What are you going to do? Most of us are already leading a lean lifestyle anyway. We've cut out on the luxuries. So if now you need to find another 25%, where are you going to find it from? Which means that you just have to take out the cover in your personal capacity. Another thing I would also stress is there are fantastic additional value adds. For example, at Liberty, we've got what you call the educator benefit. Most employers don't have an educator benefit which funds your children's education up until they finish their first degree if you either become permanently disabled or you pass away. So there's always an opportunity to do better or to enhance what the employer has, which is why I will encourage you, book your consultation with a certified financial planner, with a financial advisor, to make sure that your I's are dotted, your T's crossed, and you've got a well run financial plan that is disaster proof.
I loved talking to you, Tsungai, and I'm sure we'll talk again in the near future. Really appreciate your insights. Tsungai Masindeke is a certified financial advisor at Liberty. A minute to 11.
Dad, how come Mom's not coming to my soccer game?
Well, Mom isn't allowed to come to your soccer games anymore.
Is it because she tried to tackle Coach KB for giving me a red card?
Maybe.
Humans who fiercely protect the people they love. Welcome. Search Liberty Protect to protect your life and legacy today. Liberty, in it with you, all of you. Liberty Group Limited, a licensed life insurer, an authorized FSP and part of the Standard Bank Group. T's and C's, risks and limitations apply.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. President Cyril Ramaphosa's legal representative, Vim Trendgrove, says Ramaphosa believes he at all times acted correctly and in good faith following the theft of US dollars from his Palapala farm in 2020. The Western Cape High Court today is considering the president's application to review the parliamentary report compiled by an independent panel that concluded he has a case to answer in respect of his conduct. Trendgrove has told the court that the panel didn't ask itself the right questions in determining whether the president willfully acted in bad faith. Ramaphosa had reported the theft of money to his head of Presidential Protection Unit, who then launched a rogue cross-border search for the money. Retired Hawks head Godfrey Libya says he had no knowledge of alleged organized criminal activities by late taxi boss Jonathan Msibi. Libya is being cross-examined at the Madlanga Commission on allegations that he interfered in an operation to arrest murder-accused Katiso Molefe. Libya denies this, stating he deployed Hawks officers to the 2024 arrest operation to verify the raid following a call from a civilian known as Malcolm X. Molefe has been linked to alleged cartel activities, which are said to have been once headed by Msibi. Libya testified this morning that during his term in office, the Hawks did not know of Msibi and the so-called Big Five cartel.
I have no knowledge of that organized criminal groupings at all, and I even doubt if it is registered as an organized crime project. If so registered, maybe it might be with the detective service. So
his testimony continues. A former SAPS anti-gang unit member charged with corruption is expected to cross-examine a co-accused in the trial of suspected underworld gang boss Nafiz Modak. Accused number 10, Yannick Adonis, yesterday told the Western Cape High Court that senior police officials sanctioned a grenade attack on slain top cop Charles Kinnear as part of an operation targeting Modak. Adonis faces charges of conspiracy to commit murder related to his alleged involvement in the botched attack on Kenya in 2019. Carlo Peterson has more.
Yannick Adonis told the court he was an awaiting trial prisoner at Halderstrom Correctional Facility in 2019 when he met co-accused Ashley Tabisha. Tabisha, who was an anti-gang unit and tactical response team officer, was part of a team escorting Adonis to and from court. Adonis told the court Tabisha later introduced him to the late Major General Andre Lincoln, who was head of the AGU at the time. Adonis says Tabisha also knew about Lincoln's alleged plan to stage a grenade attack on slain top cop Charles Kinnear in a bid to frame and kill Nafis Modak. Tabisha, who faces charges of corruption and is representing himself, is expected to cross-examine Adonis today. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News.
And families in Nepal are holding symbolic funeral ceremonies to liberate the souls of loved ones missing since deadly flash floods swept away their villages and homes in the Himalayan region a week ago. Emergency teams have recovered more than 1,000 bodies and nearly 4,500 people are missing after a wave of freezing water, rocks and debris triggered a high-altitude glacial collapse roared down the China-Nepal border. A week on from the colossal disaster, Nepali rescuers remained hopeful about finding survivors, particularly in multiple tunnels of hydropower plants across the region. Gold's trading at $4,321.43 an ounce. The rand is at 16.15 to the dollar, 21.81 to the pound, 18.69 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $95.53 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N1 South in the Deep Kloof area. An accident reported right near the Renshaw Road off-ramp. It's causing delays coming out of the Soweto Highway. There's also queuing traffic reported on the Mike 1 North between Boyson's Road and the Crown Interchange.
A fine day in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 27 and 29 degrees. The developing story in EWN, the SAR, President Cyril Ramaphosa's legal representative, Vim Trengrove, says Ramaphosa believes he at all times acted correctly in good faith following the theft of US dollars from his Palapala farm in 2020.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
Welcome back. 6 minutes after 11 o'clock, you're on 702. No, it's not Clement. My name is Thabo Mashao. I'm in his stead. He is not here. We're together till 12. Great having you with us. In the previous hour, we had a very interesting discussion about financial planning. And I know it's not such a sexy, fashionable topic, but very critical, very important nonetheless. And we're speaking about how to maintain stability and dignity through uncertainty. None of us know what tomorrow holds. It could be that we are unable to perform our duties for one reason or the other. And what happens then to your livelihood, your family and other individuals? So that's why we had this discussion with Liberty and Tsungai. Asindike is a certified financial advisor. Tsungai was giving us some heads up, some insights on how best to protect our source of income. Right now, another important issue to look into is the matter of social grants. So many South Africans, actually millions of South Africans are on social grant system, one or the other. And this is not simply a payment for them. It is a lifeline. But for beneficiaries, keeping that lifeline in place is becoming increasingly complicated. With a number of changes and requirements coming into effect, the deadline, take that for instance, the deadline for migrating from the old SASSA Gold card to the new Postbank Black card has now passed, and beneficiaries have not made the switch, who have not made the switch could temporarily lose access to their money. even though the grant itself continues to be paid into their account. That's a very, very serious issue to take into consideration. And in my various interactions with different people from various backgrounds, I find that a number of people are still battling to make sense of this transition as well. And we often are also riddled with emails from grant recipients and or beneficiaries who are asking many questions. So as a result, on Listener's Choice today, we've decided to have a SASSA clinic for beneficiaries. That's what we call it. And in that clinic, we have asked a doctor to come through, and that doctor is Dr. Paseka Letsatsi, 8 minutes after 11.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
Who doubles as a national spokesperson for SASSA. Dr. Paseka Letsatsi, thanks very much for joining us. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, let's start, Dr. Letsatsi, with the issue affecting beneficiaries right now. The gold card deadline has passed. If someone is still using a gold card today, what exactly happens to their grant and how do they access their money?
No, thanks for the question, Thabo. I think basically the card operates like any other card, my card and your card bank. Our cards have got an expiry date. Then you are expected to change it. If you can't change it, the money is there in your account. Rest assured. The only thing that you need to do is to make sure that you go to those selected outlets and make sure that you swap your card. You will definitely, it will be activated and you'll get access to your money immediately.
So just to be clear, you do not lose that money that was deposited into your account. It is there up until you update your card and you get the correct card in order to access the money.
Definitely, Thabo, and I think we may want to put the beneficiaries at ease that the money will stay in your account. Just make sure that you basically go to the outlet, swap the card. And I'm telling you now that once it's activated, you get your money immediately.
Yeah. And for someone who missed the 31st August deadline, what must they do now to migrate to the Postbank Black Card? And where can they go for assistance?
The Postbank is the one which is doing the card swap, and they have communicated widely to the beneficiaries. I know that they are in partnership with ShopRite. They've even opened some of the makeshift outlets. They've communicated with the beneficiaries because they know where they are concentrated. I know that majority of them are concentrated in KZN and Eastern Cape. However, in terms of localizing it, they would know that these beneficiaries are here, and they would have made sure that they partner with a relevant outlet to make sure that people don't basically travel long distances to go and swap the card. But they will be giving us a report by the end of this week because there were 70,000 that they were dealing with from 1.8 million. So they would be giving us a report to indicate how far they are.
So Paseka Letsatsi is with me right now and is a national spokesperson of SASSA. I don't want to monopolize the conversation because I know you have more pertinent questions than I would ever have. You are the one who insisted that we must host this clinic in order for you to get some bit of help from SASSA. We've asked him to spend some time with us. He's doing that. Feel free to give us a call on 072 702 1702. I'd love to hear from you. Dr. Letsatsi, pardon me for a second there. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah. Thanks for that. We've also heard about beneficiaries not having having their payments suspended because they failed to respond to SASSA review. Please say more about that.
It's mandatory in terms of our regulations to make sure that we do the review of social grants beneficiaries. We were doing it once a year, but after careful consideration and interaction with the National Treasury, we realized that doing it once a year, we have people falling through the cracks. We are now doing it every 3 months to make sure that we check if individuals the conditions have changed. Let me just make an example. You come to SASSA, you make an application, you are not working. 2 months down the line, you get employed, you get access to your salary. Or you may find that someone has got a business which has been paying. All that we do, we have partnered with other government agencies so that someone would come to SASSA, make an application, give us 3 months bank statement which demonstrate that they've got zero balance in their account. However, when they leave SASSA office, they would go next door to a Mashonisa or to the loan sharks and make a loan, or maybe go to a normal place, do a loan. And when you make a loan, they need a 3 months bank statement. Voila. When they present the bank statement there, it indicates that they are getting 25,000 rand a month. So all what we need to do is people to come and explain why when you come to us, you say you've got zero, but when you go and lend money somewhere, you present something which says you've got 25,000 coming into your account.
And obviously that is to protect, to make sure that the beneficiaries who are deserving get their allotment, and those who are not, they're not given that. Fully understand that. Now, share a bit about if somebody has already missed their review and their grant has been suspended, is there a way to have repayment reinstated?
Definitely, and that's not we don't want to go there, Thabo. That's why we are engaging with people. What we do, we've got your details, we've got your cell number, we've got your address. So we'll communicate with you. Hence, I may have to mention quickly that we always request the beneficiaries. If you change your cell number, please let us know. If you change your address, please also let us know so that we don't keep sending letters to a wrong address. Secondly, we also don't keep on sending messages to a wrong cell phone number. So we communicate with you for the first month and you don't respond. So what we simply do in months which will be coming, we do what we call a delay payment. A delay payment, let me just make an example. If we pay beneficiaries on the third day of every month, yours will be delayed with 2 days. It's a way in which we are communicating with you, because we know that you need that money. So if everybody is paid on the third and yours is not in the bank, you are bound to come to a SASSA office and inquire why your money is not in your account. And therefore, you'll find a SASSA official who would then be able to interact with you. But we do the delayed payment 3 times. And if you still don't want to come to a SASSA office after the third time that you have done it, we basically stop your account completely. And that's not what we want to do. We want people to respond and make sure that they do everything in their power to make sure that they comply.
I suppose coming to the office deals with the issue of beneficiaries who aren't particularly comfortable with using technology. That closes that gap a little bit, because some may not be comfortable with using smartphones for one reason or the other. And as a result, they may feel that they are not communicating efficiently with your office in that regard.
We have rolled out, we will be rolling out the kiosk tab. We went to Maponya Mall, with the minister last month. There's a kiosk there. There's a SASSA official who would then be able to help you so that you don't go to the queue. You can just go there, press, if maybe you are not, you don't understand the technology, there is someone who would then be able to help you. We have seen that the kiosk which we have rolled out, they help a lot to ease the queues, but we have gone further. We've introduced the revolutionary WhatsApp channel. This WhatsApp channel, you can simply communicate with it. If you want to check your status, how far is your status in terms of application? If you want to do the proof of life, you can do it. We are just making life of beneficiaries very simple. But rest assured, if you go to a SASSA office and you don't understand, there is someone at the kiosk to be able to help you. It's so quick. You go in, 5 minutes, you are out. You don't have to stand in the queue. Me and you, Thabo, in the next 20 or 30 years, we don't want to be standing in the queue in case we SASSA beneficiaries. Technology must then be able to help us to apply from the comfort of our places.
Yeah, it will be 30 years for me and 10 years for you, Paseka. You are older than me, so in the I'll be led by your example. Let's go straight to the calls. 011-883-0702. Tebo Hostatu is calling us from Paklu. Tebza, morning.
It's Tivo Paseka. Good morning, gentlemen. What a very necessary and very important discussion. For me, it's all about protecting the most vulnerable and the marginalized. The issue there, I always read about the unfortunate stories of people's accounts having been debited by people they don't know for some insurance or this or that. Those things, they are preventable. So the tools are out there to be able to help SASSA and its beneficiaries not to have fraudulent transactions take place in there. So that's my point. I wanted to say, especially we were talking about technology. Let's use technology and make sure we protect the marginalized and the most vulnerable. Thank you so much.
Tebza, thanks very much. Really appreciate it. Teboho from Paklu. Dr. Letsatsi?
Tebza, very important, and I think I must address it. I hope he's listening. These are some of the things which we need for people to come forward and actually advise us in terms of how to improve, because it's only through partnership that we'll then be able to do better. But we have experienced a situation where there's deductions. You go and ask an old person, they come to our office and say, I don't know anything about the 200 rand that has been taken out of my account. But when we check in the system, we realize that the old person is given a mandate that the money must be deducted. And how it happens, Thabo, we had a meeting with because we know the culprits, but I can't say it here. I still love my pension. I love my family. These people, I know that they will use SASSA's money to take me to court and take me to the cleaners. But we know their names. We know these companies. We had a meeting with them. What is happening is that the runners who are recruiting people for the funeral policies are the ones who are lying to the frail and old people that please sign this document. You are going to get a 5,000 groceries. So we just want to engage on a very robust beneficiary education, to go to the schools, to go to the clinics, to meet with the counselors. We are able to encourage them that, but please, when you are at home during the day and these guys, they come to you and tell you that they promise you all sorts of things, do not append your signature. Rather, wait for your grandchildren to come back and actually interpret the form that is being given to you. So they have realized that they can't do it through how they used to do it, through calling people and so forth. So they come to you, give you forms, and the crime that which is so painful with their committee is that they lie. They say, no, you're going to get 5,000 rand if you sign here. Look, Thabo, we're dealing with old people. Some of them can't read because the eyesight is not good, and they trust this person is from SASSA, and the person says sign here, they sign, and then 200 rand gets deducted every month from their grant.
That's cruelty, and that's cruelty and heartlessness of another kind for people to do that, especially to old people. Paseka, I mean, proof of life is another requirement that can cause serious confusion. This is necessary, and one would understand why. But who needs to complete the proof of life form, and how often is it required? And what happens if someone doesn't do it?
The proof of life is we need to know our beneficiaries, Thabo. I mean, for over a long period of time, the public purse has been bleeding. And as SASSA, we have taken a stance that as much as we understand that the public purse is shrinking, and we need to do everything possible in our power to make sure that the money goes to the deserving grants beneficiaries. So the proof of life would say, for an example, we identify Thabo. Thabo has not been withdrawing their money for 6 months. This is the grant. We expect if Paseka is applied, for an example, for the grant, you need that money to use it. So, but why don't you use it for 6 months? Why is the money sitting there 6 months? It means you may be getting something somewhere that you are using to. So we have made life very easy. We say people must do the proof of life. We've got a WhatsApp number. Before I drop here, I would give it to the listeners so that they can then be able to use it. Even now that while we are still engaging Thabo, you can just go to the WhatsApp number and perhaps maybe give the listeners the update in terms of what is that you have found. If I don't waste time, the number
you can give it to me. Yeah,
it's 082 601 0111.
011.
Just type hi. Yes.
082 601 0111.
That's correct. Just type hi and it will prompt you in terms of what is it that you need to do.
Okay. I'll just go to it right away, and I'm urging you also to do the same so that we hold Dr. Paseka Letsatsi accountable whilst he's still here about this very same number. It's 08. Please give it to us again, Paseka. 082
601 0111.
Perfect. But before that, let's take a call from Koketso in Brits. Koketso, morning.
Hi, Thabo. How are you?
I try. How are you, Koketso?
I'm good. I just need to ask one question. It's related to this SASSA things. I don't know if maybe they touched about it because I just got the conversation in the middle. I was working. So, but now I was listening. So, Thabo, I need to ask something about these people who are getting this 370 grants. So these people suddenly their grants are declined, and then their status hasn't changed. Like they are still not working, even if when they do appeal, it's declined. So I wanted to know, like, what is the reason of those of causing that to decline, and then what should they do in order for them to continue to get those 370? Because I feel like maybe, for example, I'm not pointing anyone with fingers, but since it's a topic and it's an open discussion, I feel like since this money, for example, is budgeted, and then I feel like someone maybe is not doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. Let's get an answer and I'm not discounting your reasons for calling. I'm just saying, given time, let's get a quick answer from Paseka so that if you've got a follow-up, we can just do a follow-up quickly. Don't hang up, please, Koketso.
Okay.
Paseka?
Thank you very much, Koketso, for the question. When you make an application for the 370 and it gets declined, you are bound to get the reason why. And once you get the reason, you have a right as well to appeal. And once you appeal, you would then have to wait to get an answer in terms of whether the appeal was successful or not. And most of the time, Koketso, you would find that there is money which was channeled in your account. And I think I want to clarify this thing very well. You may not be employed, right? But you may have 1,000 rand which was deposited into your account. And this money is meant for people who have got nothing whatsoever to fend for themselves. And if there's money which has been flowing into your account, it will give us that particular information. But like I'm saying, you have the right to appeal. But obviously, what COVID has taught us, Thabo, is that we are able to work as one, as government entities, no more working in silos. So if you get something from UIF, I'm just making an example, I'm not saying that is a fact, we would then be able to pick it up. if you are in SARS, we are able to pick it up. We bounce the information with SARS. Secondly, Thabo, the other one which we are also able to do, we have the live interaction with the Department of Home Affairs. So if you come and apply, we're able to interact with the Department of Home Affairs immediately. So the technology is such that it's helping SASSA. It's also helping government through National Treasury to make sure that the resources are channeled to where they're supposed to go.
Yeah. Paseka, let me just find out if Koketso is answered. Koketso, are you answered?
Yes, I'm answered, but for example, Thabo, I have proof that there is nothing coming into my account.
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah.
Like for a very long time.
Yeah.
And
but
then
still declines.
Still declined. And then another question just before I hang up. If maybe SASSA they see my proof, what happens with those declines? Like, will they give me that money back again? Because, for example, it was entitled for me, Thabo. So if maybe they meet 5 payments,
Can
and then now they see the proof that no, this guy wasn't receiving anything. It was a fault from SASSA, and that money it was for me. It was budgeted for me.
Got you.
So like,
okay, so let's ask him quickly before the news. I've got news, so let's ask him, and so that we can get a response. Paseka?
Okay.
Yeah, quick one, Koketso. If the money was declined and if it is SASSA which was in the wrong, SASSA has got no right whatsoever to refuse to give you access to your money, and that will happen obviously after an application or an appeal. So we'll definitely make sure that you get what is due to you. But Koketso, if he is personally affected, Thabo, I would request that perhaps you may have to take his details after the interview, and then I can interact with him.
I think it's the best way to go about it, Dr. Letsatsi. Really appreciate it. Before I let you go, I am on that WhatsApp, and then I said hi, as you said, and it said main menu, and right in front of me it says my COVID-19 SRD, social grants, and SASSA FAQ. So those are the options open to me. Is that the right one?
That's the correct one. It will prompt you. You just go through, and it will talk to you.
Okay. Really appreciate your time, and I'm hoping that we'll chat again in the near future. Dr. Paseka Letsatsi, National Spokesperson for SASSA. 11:30. And we welcome Bali Dlamini, who's going to give us latest eyewitness news headlines at 11:30. Hi, Bali.
Thanks, Thabo. Good morning. The determination of an independent panel that suggested President Cyril Ramaphosa face impeachment is under scrutiny in the Western Cape High Court today. Ramaphosa has told the court that the panel misinterpreted the National Assembly rules when it considered evidence before it in connection with the theft of US dollars from his Palapala farm in 2020. His legal counsel, Vim Trengrove, told the court that the panel did not weigh up the evidence put before it. Retired Hawks head Godfrey Lebeya says he had no knowledge of alleged organised criminal activities by late taxi boss Jotham Msibi. Lebeya is being cross-examined at the Madlanga Commission on allegations that he interfered in an operation to arrest murder-accused Gatiso KT Molefe. Lebeya denies this, stating he deployed Hawks officers to that 2024 scene. And the Department of International Relations has cleared South Africa's ambassador to India, Anil Suklal, of any wrongdoing. Suklal has been undergoing internal consultations with the department following this visit of former President Jacob Zuma to India. In June, Suklal, along with controversial Gupta brother AJ, as well as Zuma, was seen together attending a religious ceremony in India. Well, those are the headlines, this EWN and more at midday or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, heading towards Deep, we've got an accident on the N1 South. It happened right near the Rancho Road off-ramp. Delays coming out of the Soweto Highway. There's also queuing traffic in Bedford View on the N3 North between Van Buren Road and the Kilulis interchange, while the N3 South is also backed up approaching the Kilulis turn-off. That's due to roadworks there. Heading towards Parktown, do expect a slight backup on the M1 South approaching Empire Road due to an earlier accident. And traffic is flowing now within the Sandton CBD, although you can expect delays along several roads, including Fredman Drive, Sandton Drive, along with Rivonia Road. More traffic updates coming up at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on EWN app.
The Sharing Space
On the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
8 minutes to 12 o'clock. Clement is not here. My name is Thabo Shoda Mashao. I'm in his stead. We're together till 12, and between 12 and 1, Mandy Wina will give you midday report. And today, she's going to also feature that very important Joburg stories, those positive stories about Joburg that I love so much. So make sure that you're tuned in for that. But back to our show. It's sharing space now, and I never move furniture. You'd know that Clement speaks about a problem that comes from a listener who would have sent us an email or a WhatsApp or communication of any sort, having a certain problem that they would like to get your insights on. They're asking for your advice. They're asking for your astute counsel. They're asking for your pearls of wisdom. And these are listeners in 702 and some don't want to be mentioned, and including this one, they withdraw the names for reasons that are rather obvious, and you will get them as I read out the entire problem for you. And so I, with humility, I'd like you to please assist, because these are serious life problems, and you may just help someone with your advice that you're offering. And if you will, I'll just go straight to it on the sharing space. The time now, 26 minutes to 12 o'clock. So this is what they say. Hi, Clement. Well, it's Thabo today. I suppose they didn't know that I'd be standing in. I'm a woman who owns a consulting firm. And for the past 2.5 years, I've had a relative of mine working for me. When he started working with me, I was happy to give him the opportunity. We are family. He's qualified for the job. And I also wanted to support him while also growing my business. For the most part, things were going very well. But this year, he decided to go back to school full time while still working for my company. I understood that this was important for him, and I tried to be accommodating. I gave him time to attend to his studies and tried to work around his schedule because I wanted to support him. The problem is that over the past few months, his work has started to suffer. He's been slacking, missing deadlines, and generally not meeting the demands of the job. It has got to a point where I've had to bring in a freelancer to cover some of his responsibilities because I can no longer rely on this guy to get anything done at work. Eventually, I had a serious conversation with him, and I told him that he needs to decide what he wants to do and what he wants to prioritize. If he wants to be in school full time, good. Then he must focus on that. I understand that, but then he may not be able to continue working for me full time. And if he wants to keep this job, he has to at least meet the requirements of the job, because I cannot continue paying someone else a full salary whilst they're not doing their work and they're being paid the work that they're being paid to do. If he cannot meet the job requirements, I'll have to let him go. Enough is enough. He didn't take that conversation well at all. He told our auntie, uncles, and other members of the family. He told generally everyone in our family space. Since then, I've received calls from all corners, from our relatives, accusing me of taking bread out of his mouth. They say he needs this job to pay for his studies. And what kind of family member am I? That his studies are only for this year, and that next year he'll be able to return to work full time. But I have clients who expect work to be delivered. I'm the one who's ultimately responsible when deadlines aren't met. I've already had to pay someone else to do his work, but surely he should decide whether he wants to do school or work full time for me. Am I unfair? What would other 702 lenders do if they were in my position? I'd love to hear from you. 072 702 1702. So on Sharing Space, we really need your help today. Here's this wonderful lady. She runs a very successful consulting firm. A relative from Beggarsford comes through and that relative now wants to work with her. She says, cool, Kazi, come through. But Kazi is working well for the first year or so. Then Kazi decides to enroll for a course, and this course takes his eye off the ball. And now Kazi is not concentrating, he's missing deadlines, it's affecting this work. They have to call in someone else to do his job. And when the listeners told Kazi that, hey, you must shape up or ship out, Kazi told everyone in the family, now our listener is a bad person. This is now the Grinch who stole Christmas. She feels that now she's seen by her other family members because this culprit told everyone in the family about this ordeal. Now family members are calling, why are you so harsh on our cousin? Why are you so harsh? Family must stick together. Give him another chance. He's studying only for 1 year. Next year things are going to be okay. Give him another chance. And yet productivity is declining. Money is not coming in. He's not covering. She's not covering the requirements as a result. What can she do? What must she do? Please give her an advice. 072 702 1702, or you could just call us on 011 883 0702.
John Perlman. Weekday afternoons,
3 to 6.
Question about national style and the way we play. What do you expect in the Musimane era? I mean, it's not all going to happen quickly and it won't necessarily happen in any dramatic fashion, but do you expect Pitso version of Bafana to play differently, and if so, in what way?
He doesn't have to come in and change a lot of things because some good work has been done. I don't expect him to come and change things drastically in terms of playing style, also even in terms of formation. I don't see him moving away from the 4-3-3 that we got used to.
John Perlman.
3 to 6 on 702.
As a business owner, before you cut back on the staff in budget to save money, rather switch to Outsurance Business Insurance. You could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium for law firms, real estate agencies, computer services, and all other businesses. Switch to Outsurance Business Insurance could mean more cash for your business. Ready to switch and save? Get a quote today. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's and information online.
You hear that? That's the sound of business execution finally visible. No more chasing people and reports, no more disconnected systems, no more guessing if our business is performing or not. iStratGo connects strategy, people, performance, and day-to-day work into one clear software platform, so leaders can see what's working, what's not, and where to focus. Because when execution is visible, everything runs better. Book a demo on istratgo.com. istratgo.com.
Everyone has their first, that life-changing moment when the music spoke to your soul and you both listened. With global icons Kamasi Washington, Angelique Kidjo, Themba Mkhize and Africa Mkhize, Ibrahim Malouf, Floetry, Manana, Internet Ati, and over 40 world-class acts. This is Jazz Reignited, the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz, 25th and 26th September. Buy your weekend pass now via Ticketmaster.
702 and the Dis-Chem Foundation are shining the spotlight on the health matters you want to know more about. Here's what we explored this month.
Most exciting coming up is Socks for Smiles.
Tell us all about that.
It's a campaign that we are launching with Dis-Chem. The idea is that you wear your mismatched socks on the 16th of October. And it's a really fun initiative that we've started to try and encourage inclusivity and celebrate difference. So we want them to wear mismatched socks, and that means going into the Dis-Chem stores and buying your 20 Rand Socks for Smiles sticker and supporting this cause so that we can raise more money for more surgeries.
In Conversation on Afternoon Drive with John Perlman. Brought to you by the Dis-Chem Foundation, caring for the community on 702.
Due to forecasts of torrential rain this weekend, Narox has regrettably rescheduled this year's Spring Jazz Concert to Sunday, 13th September. This is to ensure the best possible experience for the audience. artists, and sponsors. All purchased tickets for the original date remain valid for the new date. For ticket holders unable to attend the new date, refunds are available through the Howler ticketing channel. Kindly email support@howler.co.za. That's support@howler.co.za. Tickets for the 13th of September can be purchased through Howler. Limited final admission tickets available for the new date from www.nyroxarts.com.
The Sharing Space
On the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
Sharing space, you heard it. I won't bore you with that long story again from me, and I'm sure you've got some advice from us. Feel free to share your insights, your advice, or just your thoughts about these sorts of stuff. It could be that you've also had this experience before. On either side of the fence, you can just share your thoughts with us on 072 702 1702.
Thing with family, I've learned the hard way. I spent a lot of money trying to build a tuck shop, and because I wanted to use, my family has builders, I wanted to use my family and not hire somebody from outside. I paid my brother at the time. He started the work, he did not finish, and I paid my uncle. He proceeded with the work up to the knees, and he also did not finish. And all of a sudden they are sick, the cement is affecting their health and everything, but they were paid half of the money up front. Because it's family, I kept quiet. And a lot of the time, family take advantage, and I would fire, I was that person, I would fire this family member. I had to fire my nephew because of this kind of things. They don't do work knowing that they're family.
Hi Tabo, hi 702 listeners. Just for anonymous, the cousin is taking advantage, full advantage. If it was any other organization, they would have dismissed him a long time ago, and the family wouldn't have called that organization saying that they're taking food from. Because why aren't they reprimanding the cousin that you've been given an opportunity that isn't received by anyone? And here you are, we need to think for you and wait. My business must wait for you to go to school. Which business has ever waited for someone to go to school? I would have let the cousin go a long time ago. By the time that I had to have paid someone else, they would have been gone.
Good morning, 702 Land. Vincent here. Hey, Tabo, this is simple. Business is business. If he can't meet up the deadlines and the targets, let him go. Simple. There's no family strings attached in business. No. We just do business. That's it. If he can't, let him go. If he can, then he must meet the deadlines. Simple. Thank you.
Good day, Tabo and the team. With your anonymous here, it came from a good place, what you wanted to do, but certain requirements were not met, which are required by the business. Now, you need to make a decision from there on requirements made by the business. He came, he worked, everything was fine, then the studies, which is good. Now, we need to shift things now. Things are you're no longer meeting your requirements. What he did is correct. But now the very same family says, when it gets reported, everybody speaks to him, complaining. When he did good, I'm sure those families never said, thank you, you did a good thing. Why don't we put same effort in calling of someone, like when you say thank you? I think he did a good job. It's his business that suffers at the end of the day. It's his business. It says, do not employ from home, of which it can be wrong at times.
Yeah, but guys, this is her cousin. They are related. Can she just say, you're fired, just like that? I mean, it's really going to create World War III in that family. She can't just wake up and say, you're fired. She's to blame as well, to a large extent, because she allowed the situation to unfold in the most unpleasant way. How is it that, at this particular point, she only wakes up now to all of this? But But firstly, why do you hire family? There's a word for that. Could it be nepotism? See, she's paying the price. I think she must blame herself first before she goes to the cousin. She must blame herself first. She ought to have known better. I think it's all on her. It's all on her. She must just let the cousin be and the cousin to do as the cousin wants because she has opened that door. Now it's difficult for her to close it. 011-883-0702. I'd love to hear from you. What say you?
I think that she has done exactly the right thing. She had to call it. But if she's in the position, lend him a certain amount of money, whatever she feels she can lend, and he pays that back when he comes back to work for her. So there is some bridging finance, but on a loan basis only.
I suppose, yeah, that would be kindness. But can you imagine if this person was someone else and not family? She wouldn't even have written to us. She wouldn't even be asking for your advice. She would have done the right thing long ago. I think this is a lesson to us, all of us, about hiring family members, about applying nepotism where it ought not be. I think there's a huge lesson here. She must take responsibility. I would say, listen, take responsibility for your actions. There were so many other candidates. It could be also that she created this job, this position, especially for a family member. Yet someone else had asked for a job and she looked away. And now she's asking for help. Am I too harsh? Let me know. 011-883-0702 or your voice notes to 072-702-1702.
Tabo, if I was paying a person while they are not at work, they are not coming to work full time, and they are studying, whatever they are studying should be at least aligned to the work that they're going to be doing for me. Because if I'm going to pay a person a full salary, while they don't come to work, I get a replacement for them because I need a person to man that job in order to meet deadlines. That means that person, whatever they're studying, has something to do with the job that they're doing in my company. Because if that lady is paying that person to go and study, and this is their last year, after they finish their studies, they're going to go and look for another job somewhere else. And while all the time she's paying this person a salary, and they're not coming to work and they're studying something completely different to what they are employed to do there. Come on.
Good day, 702 and the listeners. You know, family and business, they don't mix at all. They don't mix. Family and business, they don't mix. Look, it was a very good thing for him to hire this family member, maybe because of the family member is struggling to make a living, and maybe the family member is able to go to school now that he's earning money from him. That's why he's able to afford to go to school. But at the end of the day, if the business is suffering, we need to remove emotions. We need to remove anything that has to do with emotions in this regard. If the business is suffering, if you're not doing well, you must leave, no matter who you are.
Tibos, how's it, my man? Casey from the south. Listen, here's my 5 cent worth input on the lady's email. First of all, it's always a risky business to, as a business person, to employ one of your family members or relatives, because the likelihood is that they won't take that as serious as had they worked for somebody who they are not related to. It's almost like family first. Secondly, as much as we encourage people to study as much as they can, the truth is that studying while working is not for everybody. Hence, this guy now his work suffers because obviously her studies demands a lot from him. So it's something that we need to be honest with. It's not for everybody, and it also depends on the actual job, your daily job. Thanks, mate.
Good morning, team. I think the person hasn't done anything wrong. This is the trouble when you employ family and people that you know personally. They don't come into the business, to abide and to comply with the standards that the business has set, because they have personal relationships with you. They can arrive late, they can underperform, and whenever you try and reprimand them, then you become a very bad person. That is why I've always judged people that say, I won't ever employ family and people that I know. I've always judged them as being cruel people. But as you grow older, you get to see that there's a reason why people do that. It's just all these bad experiences. Imagine now you're trying to do something good, you're trying to empower a person, and they just abuse you, So they need to choose. If it's school, let it be school. If they want to work, then let them give the minimum requirement that is required. And then in their spare time or in the afternoons, they do their schoolwork, I don't see anything wrong that this person has done. And I think the family mustn't be hard on the person.
Yeah, the family shouldn't be hard on the person. But I suppose what you need to remember more than anything else is the fact that those emotions shouldn't have existed in the first place for her to hire him. They were not necessary. But I suppose some of you think I'm being too harsh, right? But I love your inputs. I love your inputs. All of them are focused on the bottom line. All of you, well, most of you at least, are thinking, we are shareholders. We want money. We don't want to hear about long stories. And I suppose this cousin might end up being an asset to the company. If he's studying, if he's empowering himself, he could end up being a valuable member of the company. In that way, she could then deduct the cash that she has used on him for the benefit of the studies and everything else. She could deduct that money and sign a contract with a guy and say, for the next 4 years, you can't leave because we need to get back what we have invested in you. I don't know how that will work out. I'd love to hear from you. 011-883-0702. Alternatively, give us a call on 011-883-0702 or send a message to 072-702-1702.
Good morning, Tawe and your listeners. I wanted to say that it's a problem to employ family. I used to have that problem before. If the family member cannot meet the job requirements, simple, they need to go, because you cannot mix family and business. It's like mixing business with pleasure. Business is business.
Good day, Tabo. Good day. Thanks for a beautiful show. Just to contribute to the topic, look, it's very difficult to look away when family members are looking for a job or they're not doing well and you're able to assist from business point of view. But I believe that family members should also be treated like any other employee. When they sign their contracts, they should understand exactly what they are expected, in a business setup. Like the other caller said, business and emotions, you separate them. And everyone has to work. They're not going to be treated differently. And the minute they start to violate their employment contract or behave contrary to what they've been contracted to do, the processes has to be followed and be implemented so that other employees can also feel at home to understand that there's a business. So business has to be run like a business, family member or no family member. So if the person has been fired because they've not been performing or whatever reason, if it's in line with the process, then all good and well. Thank you.
Stephen Senton. Hi, Steve.
Hi. Yeah, I just want to comment. My perspective, I'm a business consultant. My perspective is that there are no bad workers, they're just bad managers. So when you employ somebody, and whether it's family or whatever, you employ them and then you give them very clear guidelines and terms of reference as to what they are allowed to do, what they're not to do, what they're expected to do. And then the whole process hinges entirely on the level of counseling that you give that person on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis. You never let them get into a default situation with months of neglect or whatever it is. it's a constant conversation saying you're doing well, you're not doing well, this is what you like, what you should be doing, what you're not doing. And so, it's all on the manager, not on the person. People only get away with what you allow them to get away with.
Certainly. I tend to go with you, Steve. Thanks very much for that astute counsel. 3 minutes to 12 o'clock.
You packed it, you loaded it, you drove it there, you paid a courier and still did part of the courier's job. Life should be easier. With Courier it is. Fast and convenient delivery options, friendly service, great pricing, all with a team that is energetic, experienced in delivery and serious about service. Local or international, Courier it makes sending easy for businesses on the move. Easy to send, easy to track, easy on your wallet. Send it today at courierit.co.za and get your 50 Rand credit. Don't stress it, just Courier it.
Dad, how come Mom's not coming to my soccer game?
Well, Mom isn't allowed to come to your soccer games anymore.
Is it because she tried to tackle Coach KB for giving me a red card?
Maybe.
Humans who fiercely protect the people they love. Welcome. Search Liberty Protect to protect your life and legacy today. Liberty, in it with you, all of you. Liberty Group Limited, a licensed life insurer, an authorized FSP and part of the Standard Bank Group. T's and C's, risks and limitations apply.
Remember the first time your soul felt alive, or the last time music moved you so deeply you didn't want it to end? That feeling is calling you back. You are officially invited to come experience soulful performances from global icons Kamasi Washington, Themba and Africa Mkhize, Nubia Garcia, Ibrahim Malouf, Judith Sipuma, Angelique Kidjo, Ndabo Zulu, Melanie Scholes, Flower Tree, Thandi Somazwai, and 40 world-class acts. 4 incredible stages of the Sandton Convention Center, one unforgettable experience at the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz, 25th to 26th September. This is Jazz Reignited. Get your weekend pass now via Ticketmaster.
Coming up
On the Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
On my favorite day, Wednesday, where we get to hear about wonderful, nice stories from Josie. Hey, Mandy, afternoon, you good?
Hey, Tabo. Very good, thank you.
What's coming up?
Yeah, new episode of, or installment of The Hope Dealers, which is my series about people changing the narrative in the city of Joburg. And today we're at Skateistan in New Doornfontein. So I went skateboarding. Almost killed myself.
I'll be checking that one out on Prime Media Plus.
Yeah, you do that. The President's review application of the Phala Phala report before the court today. Advocate Vim Trengo of SC arguing. The former Hawks head, Godfrey Lebeer, is being quizzed about the unit's operations. Our ambassador to India has been cleared after that Zuma Gupta visit. Ambassador Suklal. And a serial killer has been sentenced to 4 life terms in prison.
All that and more between 12 and 1 on Midday Report with Mandy Wiener. Have a lovely afternoon. Thanks, everyone.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. The determination of an independent panel that suggested President Cyril Ramaphosa face impeachment is under scrutiny in the Western Cape High Court today. Ramaphosa has told the court that the panel misinterpreted the National Assembly rules when it considered evidence